God. God. It's a good song. How was my mic? I got 10 million complaints. Oh, Josh, your audio last stream is about the same as what you play, which is terrible. It needs to be much, much louder. So now I can go, God, into the mic and make everybody jump in their chair and shit. Okay. Chat. My sinuses, in case you're wondering, are very clear today, which is a good forecast for the rest of the stream. There have been a myriad. This is a weird stream because once a bunch of big things happen, like last week, you have a stream where you're doing a bunch of catch up on all the trickle down effects, all the the precipitation of those events, and they're not quite as large. It's sort of strange because it's the same myriad of topics, but things have shifted ever so much in a different direction. So you have to do a rebound and talk about those things. Is there any? Oh. So I'll just start with some catch up on the Kiwi Farms for the early listeners who are the most invested in these things. I've been busy updating the Kiwi Farms over the last 2 weeks, which was very good timing because the 4chan thing happened and we're up about a couple thousand users, daily logins a day, and our guest count is about 500 to 1,000, even a week out. So I don't know if that'll stay after 4chan comes back up. It might, which would be nice. It would be a nice little bump for the forum. A lot of people are happy that a lot of the off-topic areas of the site are seeing more activity. That's always a good thing because, as I've said before, when a forum like ours has a very specific purpose, if there's slow weeks, then it's bad for the community unless there are some off-topic areas for people to participate in. So I'm always open to fostering that side of the site. And generally, it causes fewer problems for us, too. So you can basically grow the off-topic section forever, and you're not going to bump into too many problems from the outside, as opposed to the on-topic board, the on-topic board and articles and happenings, which always causes more problems. So here's my plan, okay? Let me just show you. I don't have this lined up, but I'll pull it up anyways. So this is my plan. I have discovered that there exists a machine called the Remote Deposit Capture. And this is a bank-issued machine that creates a private VPN-secured connection to the bank. And basically what you do is you feed it checks. It automatically assumes that those checks are good, and then it deposits them into your bank account immediately. So many banks across the United States, almost all of them, I would guarantee you, have a way to set up an automatic bill payment system by check. So I am going to ask that people in the future, I'm still setting this up, but I'm just letting you know what the plan is. What they'll do is they'll go to their bank and they'll set up a bill payment system to the P.O. Box in South Charleston, West Virginia. And they'll set the amount and add a little identifier, and the identifier will not be public. You will have access to this. And then the guy who handles the mail will just feed those checks into the RDC machine. The bill pay ID that you put onto the memo line will activate a benefit for your account, and the money will be deposited. And this is the closest thing that I can think of to an automated payment system that does not use any credit card system, any ACH. It has no underwriting process whatsoever. As long as there's a bank in the United States that accepts checks, which is all of them, then we are federally insured that they will deposit those checks. It is the law. A bank cannot revoke or refuse to deposit your checks. So once the check's there, it's mine. And I've really sat down because there's lots of ideas that people have kicked me like, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? And I'll sit down and I'll run it through the negative Nancy 9000 machine and try to find any possible issue that could arise. And I've really sat down. I've really thought about this. There are a couple things I can imagine, but they're basically, most importantly, they're outside the control of a tranny. A tranny really doesn't know wouldn't have the ability to really do anything about this. And if you decide to fuck with the system, if you start writing bad checks, that's a felony. That's an actual financial fraud. And the things that you can do like that, they have repercussions in real life. So it's no longer just a game of complaining to whoever. I think it's a solid system. I am debating what to do, both for the perks and for the price, because those things inform each other. I am trying to get 300 people to do $40. That's my original goal. I think that's doable. A lot of people complain that $40 a month is too high, which was kind of the point because I wanted fewer people getting better rewards. But I might go down to 200 or $20 because there's enough interest where that should be doable. But if those numbers hold true, when they consistently, I think, based on the merchandise runs, these numbers that show up on these polls are actually a little bit less. So if it works, then that opens a ton of doors for me. I can afford better hardware because we're struggling. I haven't been able to update the server in years. I can maybe even afford to hire people for help to do certain things. I can afford to focus on the forum rewrite full time. It would be awesome. It would be really, really fucking awesome if that works out. And most importantly, it gives me, because it's an automated thing, it gives me a foundation to look at and be like, this is my income level, and I can plan around that. And right now, I can't really do that. It's all over the fucking place. It's whatever Stripe wants it to be that month, It's whatever somebody feels like manually doing by crypto at that specific time. So, optimistic. I'm trying to get this done before next week. I have to go get the RDC machine. I have to figure out how its outputs look so I can write the code. But in general, the way that it works, I've really thought this through. And there was a better idea that came along that would automate it 100% online, but I didn't go with them because of security reasons. In particular, their API, it can trigger charges, but it also allowed reads, and there wasn't finite control over their API. So if there was a hack, that would expose information. So I've foregone better alternatives, faster alternatives than what I'm planning to do, in the sake of absolute maximizing security and privacy. So the way that it works is that you'll have a number on your account. Nobody else can see this number except you. You'll put that number on the check. The check will go through. It will be deposited. The person who manages the mail will have no ability whatsoever because it's an automated system that I'm writing that will be executable on his computer that runs that data and causes the upgrades. So he'll have no idea what account is getting the upgrade from what check. And then best practices for the bank actually physically inspects the office where the RDC capture machine is present. And they have policies in terms of data retention. So the checks must be destroyed per their policies. And he's already certified to do this with a different company. Sheerly coincidentally, like I didn't even know this was a thing. And I mentioned it to him. He's like, oh yeah, I already do that. I'm like, great, wonderful, how serendipitous. So the bank actually physically inspects the office to make sure that there's not like loose checks laying around, that things are being shredded in accordance to the protocol. So literally as secure as it possibly fucking gets. And it's automated. And after the initial setup, which takes like 10 minutes, then you never have to think about it again. So super optimistic, chat. But I've been optimistic before. We'll see. Okay, like, yeah, I guess he could, like, keep the scans, but the issue is, if you have a list of names, and then you don't have any accounts to associate them with, like, okay, John Doe sent in $20 to the LLC, but what's his account? What's the maximum possible damage of that? And I think that that's very little, and if he does that, that's in violation of consumer privacy laws. That's like a felony. That's like 20 years in jail or some shit. It's like a big fucking deal to steal information off of checks. Because back in the day, we actually had financial regulations. Like when checks were a thing, we implemented a bunch of laws in regards to check fraud and writing bad checks and copying information. And then after, MasterCard, Visa Card took over, we just like, oh, do whatever the fuck you want. It's open field day. We don't have any rules anymore. So that's my main thing is like, yeah, there's a certain level of trust involved here, but there are actual, like, I know his social security number because he's a person that is allowed to access banking information from the LLC account. So it's like, my level of confidence in this is extremely high. This is not like random internet people that I don't know doing things for me. This is like people that I can go shoot. Push come to shove. So if I sound a little bit flippant, I'm not. I've really thought this through. Okay. So let's see. All right. So I didn't mention what my perks were, and I'm sorry if this sounds like shilling. I just want to cover my ideas because I think my ideas are funny. One of the things that you'll get is an optional border around your profile. I'm trying to figure out how to do it so that it can't be mimicked, but basically I want to give people what I call gilding. So there will be like little gold elements of the profile that you can toggle on and off if you so prefer. However, the main thing that I'm allowing outside of a board for talking about like site updates and stuff, I'm gonna try to commit to like at least once a month, like discussing what the site's doing, so people know their money is actually doing stuff for them. Is allowing people to feature any post. So you go to the front page of the Kiwi Farms and you look at this, and for however long this has been managed strictly by staff. Usually a feature lasts a week. I am considering, and I'm not certain on the numbers, I am considering letting every user feature any post that they want across the site for a length of time that's less than a week. So probably either a couple hours or a day, up to a day, depending on how many people. So at first, I'm going to let this be like a complete free-for-all because people are going to get the new toy and they're going to do whatever the fuck they want with it. And I think intervening at that stage would be a really bad idea. And then depending on how it's used and how it's abused, I will fuck with it to try and make the featured area still very usable, but at the same time not just like completely deprive people of any benefit from doing it. That's my idea. Get to the content. No, bro. I do a little update on my streams every day. And then you know what I do after this? I go into the news. So this is an article that was featured on X. It was written directly on X and advertised on Substack. It's called "When Must We Kill Them?" So I think there's a post of this guy. Yeah, he's got little cute cat ears. So Nicholas Decker, gay flag, Ukraine flag, GMU Econ PhD, liberal Aspie. Michael Kremerson, George Mason. Okay, so here's what he wrote. You ready? Evil has come to America. The present administration is engaged in barbarism. It has arbitrarily imprisoned its opponents, revoked the visas of thousands of students, imposed taxes upon us without our consent, and seeks to destroy the institutions which oppose it. Its leader has threatened those who produce unfavorable coverage and suggested that their license be revoked. It has deprived us, in many cases, of trial by jury. It has subjected us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and has transported us beyond seas to be imprisoned for pretend offenses. Pretend offenses like not being a legal immigrant. It has scorned the orders of our courts and threatens to alter fundamentally our form of government. It has pardoned its thugs and extorted as opposed to Biden, who did not pardon its thugs, and extorted its lawyers who defended its opponents. So, where's the good point? Violence. There's the good word. Violence only makes sense as part of a coordinated strategy, which is why protests are important, not as a way of changing the present administration's actions, but to coordinate as a group. There may come a time where we should have no guarantee of freedom, but the one which we make for ourselves. If it comes, I tell you that there is no greater honor than he who lays down his life for his friends. Until then, we must wait. So this guy openly pontificating, like, yeah, when do we just start shooting Trump executives? And he's on X, having a good old time. You know who's not on X? Me. I was banned for saying praise God. You may be wondering what the tweet is that I have quote tweeted. It is a tweet that says that Mitch McConnell fell down. This tweet was from February of this year. Somebody went back and reported all of my tweets and found one where I'm praising God because Mitch McConnell, despite having a very turbulent physical issue, right, he lived. And we're just thankful that he survived. As an elected representative, he continues to serve in his post. But this is it. And I've appealed it. And I appealed it 3 days ago, chat. And my appeal is not even being fucking answered. So this is X's new policy under Herr Elon, who, of course, has a 1,000 IQ, deserves to impregnate every retard woman on the entire planet. And he decides that this post is more offensive than this article explaining when we should just start killing people in the government because they keep deporting immigrants. I really fucking hate Elon. He's just such a gigantic piece of shit, and I have nothing good to say about him. Fuck him. However, there has been an interesting. Speaking of violence, and speaking of ignoring court orders, and Krishna is king. I did my Pajit thing. I said, "My good sir, I am simply wishing good health on my friend Mitch McConnell, who is my favorite senator in the U.S. Congress. Please be of the unbannings now. Do the needful." Anyways, in the U.S. courts, an interesting happening has happened. Kash Patel was being lambasted for doing fucking nothing, as Ajit does. So he took that very serious, and he didn't want to lose his good job that lets him import 1 million Indians into the FBI. So he decided that he would take immediate action. As a result, federal judge Hannah Dugan, county circuit judge. That's a federal judge, right? A circuit judge is always a federal judge. Arrested by the FBI for helping undocumented immigrants evade arrest. So there has been a little bit of a kerfuffle in the federal level where various federal judges are saying, "No, Donald Trump." No, actually, this is in Milwaukee, so this is the perfect time. "No, Trump, child with little baby hands. You will not deport the immigrants. Our new friends enrich our country and provide diversity, stalker." Wrong again. They are not refugees. That is your imagination, just like the cats and dogs. So the federal government has been requested by the population to simply ignore the federal courts. And in this instance, they're enforcing a federal law arresting her for harboring illegal immigrants. So now we'll see. We'll see what happens. Is this going to be the end of the stalker children in the circuit courts? Perhaps, perhaps not. Is violence the answer? Elon Musk seems to think so. That's a bit outrageous. That's too far for me. I don't know why Elon Musk is platforming people calling for open murder of politicians, but someone's got to look into the Elon Musk guy, I think. Speaking of scrutiny, Ruben Sim, friend of the show, I think. I've never actually spoken to him like in any length, but a long time ago, I remember when I still had a YouTube channel, I remember looking at my YouTube followers, and I sorted by number of subscribers. My number one follower account that followed me was "Your Movie Sucks," weirdly. And then under that was this guy called Ruben Sim I had never heard of before, who was like a Roblox like content creator. Who has a very sordid history. He apparently made a terroristic threat, which allowed Roblox to get like an injunction against him, and so on and so forth. And since then, he's become the number one critic of Roblox. He has been involved intimately in trying to track how pedophiles use the platform to lure children, which is indeed a thing that happens apparently all the fucking time. And this guy has probably caused tens of millions of dollars in damages for Roblox. But one of his latest escapades has been that he created a Discord bot, and what he did is in Roblox there is this phenomenon called condos, and the condos are RP rooms, and the condo is basically a dog whistle. It is an ERP thing where there are like their bedrooms and stuff that you can hide in, right, to have cyber sex in Roblox. This is obviously the ideal vector for pedophiles to find children who are sexual at an early age, probably because they're molested in real life, and then isolate them from what is probably a bad living situation and rape and murder them, as they have in the past. Or at least get nude images of them, especially if they can get them off of onto Discord. So what Ruben did is he began to track the people participating in these condo ERP servers, and he began to find their Discord idents, and he created a bot which banned, I believe, 500,000 people who participated in condo ERPs from any server that runs the bot. So many Roblox communities were using this bot to secure the server from people known to participate in condo ERP servers. Flatly a good thing. But isn't there somebody you forgot to ask? The answer is Discord. Discord has come to the rescue of the pedophiles and has destroyed the bot. Let's read what he has to say. Rather than take down the Roblox sex game servers that blatantly violate Roblox terms of service and by extension Discord's terms of service, Discord has banned the row cleaner for profiling Discord users based on, and get this, protected characteristics. Chat, this bot is basically the Nazi bot 9000, stomping on the rights and freedoms of the protected class of sexual predators predating on children. And it's not their fault that they're heckin' minor attracted people, chat. And we must learn empathy. Skill unlock empathy, in the words of Idubbbz. Apparently, being in a Roblox porn server is protected characteristic, and we're not allowed to give owners of kid-friendly servers a tool to ban these people. Our appeal was denied. This happened just one day after news broke that a 27-year-old Californian man kidnapped a 10-year-old girl that he groomed through Roblox and Discord. Not only is Discord facilitating child abuse, they're taking action against developers actively working to prevent it. All bans performed by Row Cleaner are still in place. However, the auto ban feature is disabled. And then he announces his plans, which I will explain now. As I mentioned, #1 critic on the forum, great guy. He says, it's hard to overstate how significant Row Cleaner was. The bot had been added to over 23,000 servers and was tracking over 640,000 Roblox sex game server members. Games with billions of visits on Roblox were using it. Some of the largest servers... Oh, sorry, it also banned them from Roblox as well. So it kept the Discord clean and also aggregated bans of ERP players to other Roblox servers. So if you were running like a kid-friendly server on Roblox, you could use the Row Cleaner to keep the condo players off your servers and limit their reach. Some of the largest servers had over 1 million members, and the scan command would uncover tens of thousands of these condo players at once. Even people who hate me agreed that the bot was doing God's work. Immediately after this, bizarrely, the CEO of Discord stepped down. Jason Citron announced on Hex his departure and announced that Human Shaknini would be taking over as the CEO of Roblox. Now, my good sir, I know you may be thinking that Discord is now run by a Pajit, but I assure you that I am not a Pajit. I am actually an Arab. We are very different. We worship Muhammad and not cows. Thank you very much. So Discord, which I remind you, the government gave a big kerfuffle over fucking TikTok because TikTok is owned by Tencent. And Tencent, obviously, is a Chinese company, is probably taking user data and using it to build a profile of users. And if you really think about what kind of things you can learn from Discord as a foreign state, or TikTok as a foreign state actor, like, let's say that you realize, hypothetically, let's say that you're China, and your big issue is you want to weaken the United States, perhaps even you want to weaken its military for whatever reason. So you have to make people not want to sign up for the military. So you look around and you have all this data from TikTok and you're thinking, God, what can I show people in the algorithm to reduce interest in joining the military, to reduce that kind of jingoistic fervor that was found after 9/11. And then you discover that both sides of the political spectrum under the age of like 24 are very, very angry at Israel, which just so happens to be our #1 strategic military partner in the Middle East. So you start promoting things like Osama bin Laden's manifesto with people saying how reasonable it was. You allow a little bit of the heckin' anti-Semitorinos on the right side as well because you don't want the rednecks to join the military. They're actually good at shooting. So just after a while, you have all these people who are the military age that just really think that the U.S. is doing bad things with its military. Just as a thought experiment. I don't know. I have no evidence for that, but I've been told very reliably that there are no such things as coincidences. So that's TikTok. That's just videos. What do you think they can do with Discord? Which I remind you, if you use Discord, go ahead and look at your private message tab and think about all the things that you've said and sent as images on private messages. Now, I remind you, these are completely unencrypted. The way that the Discord backend works is that the private conversations, group chats, and servers all operate on the same infrastructure. They work in exactly the same way, with a little bit of distinction between how the rooms are advertised and viewed on the app. So they're all 100% unencrypted, plain text, accessible to anybody who has access to the servers. What could China do with that? Probably anything that it wants. What can an Arab guy do with that? Probably anything that it wants, right? Um, no, I'm not saying they manipulate people into hating Israel. I'm saying that there is already a resentment against Israel. And if you can bolster anti American sentiment on top of that to get people to not join the military, which is already in a recruitment crisis, then how is the United States going to defend Taiwan? It can't. And you can say that's a good thing. I would agree. I'm just saying that that's a thing that a foreign state would possibly want to do. It's ironic that many people believe that the CIA is involved in color revolutions across the entire world, but then we just pretend that no other country on the planet is capable of doing this because we're the best, I guess. We're the only people that got the glow neighbors. There's no such thing as a Chinese glow neighbor, okay? And in China, they keep that shit squeaky clean. They're not, those chanks, those bugmen, they can't do that shit. Are you kidding me? Chanky people doing psyops? Mm-mm. Only Americans are smart enough to do that. Anyways, so in regards to that, Human Shaknihi, Nanini sounds like a racist word. Like G. Oh my god. Check out that fucking Nini over there. He was the former vice chairman of Activision Blizzard, which is just like the most dreadful thing you could fucking imagine. Getting somebody from Activision to run your fucking Discord company is just like a nightmare. Like he says, it's like Bobby Kotick running TikTok. It's like, I could not imagine a worse fucking pick for this company. Um, Ruben also posted, the programmer for Row Cleaner just finished a new moderation bot that doesn't use any database. Instead, it lets you import your own database from a GitHub URL. This way, it's impossible for Discord to accuse us of profiling anyone improperly handling user data. Server owners can create their own ban lists and share them with each other to sync bans across communities. We're calling it the Pro Cleaner. So his idea is just to federate it a little bit and let people run their own bots, and then there's shit all that Discord can fucking do about it. At the same time, by the way, Discord has also been sued in Florida. Roblox and Discord in Florida for, guess what? Oh, the same exact shit. So imagine what kind of high level 10,000 IQ Nini you need to be to have a problem that is resulting in you being sued in different state courts for facilitating child exploitation. And then a guy comes along and for free, literally for free, he sets up a bot that automatically handles something on your behalf that you never even have to fucking think about. And your immediate response is to ban them. It just goes to show you that Discord is not only like super aware that it's like facilitating child sex in the United States, they are like actively working to ensure that Discord is as wide open for pedophiles to find children as possible. And it's really scary because you have 764 as well, and what they do is they find like preteen or teen girls that are like super in a bad place, and then they get them to send nude images or whatever, and then they like start extorting them. It's called sextortion. And it's like, okay, well now I have a picture of your boobs. Send me everything else. Cut my name into your arm. Take pictures of that as well. It's like this is all happening on Discord, and it's hard to say because there's not too much that. Really, there's not a lot that a platform like that can do about it, but they can, for instance, not take active steps to undo other people's work to moderate themselves as a bare minimum, chat, as a bare minimum. God, it's so fucking hot. It's too hot, chat. So Oblivion. Todd Howard randomly dropped a gift to gamers everywhere. Oblivion has been remastered and dropped in the Steam store. Now, this is just pure goodwill, common sense to the community. No hype, no bluster, no price hike. It's $60, but everything's going to be $60 these days. They just dropped it in the Steam store one day and said, go get them, kids. It's that game from 19 years ago, but high def. What could possibly go wrong with that? How could they possibly fuck that up? Step one, 125 gigabytes to play a 20-year-old game that was 10 gigabytes 20 years ago. literally 10 gigabytes, maybe like seven gigabytes per year added. Um, and what I've been told, I don't even know if this is true, but I've been told that it's on the Unreal Engine, which is shocking to me. I was led to, I've always thought that Bethesda had its own game engine, and they built it themselves, and they had their own like Eden or the Gek, like their own creation tool inside their engine. So I guess now they just gave up on the Bethesda engine and have switched over to Unreal Engine 5 now. Graphics are done in Unreal. Game itself is still their engine. Unreal Engine 5 is a graphics designing tool now too. Why don't they? It's unreal to me because it's like there are that Alien Isolation game I played on stream. I want to say that game was like 2 gigabytes. It was like really small, and it was one of the best looking games I've ever played. And every game since then has been like 1,000 times its size, and it looks like shit anyways. It is very unreal. That's true. Sorry, I didn't. That's no pun intended, chat. So that's the first misstep. The second misstep: astute gamers, particularly those old enough to remember Oblivion, opened up their character creator thinking, "Okay, I'm going to edit my race," because as you know, Tamriel has many different races, like the Nord and the Argonian and the Imperial and the Elf and the other Elf and then the Furry. So you had all these choices, and they're obviously different races because the Argonian's not a fucking. It's not like black people. It's a fish monster. But then you open it, and it says edit identity. So now instead of edit race, which is what it was before, because they were different races of Tamriel, because an elf is not a human being. Now it's your identity. So now you get to choose your identity. You can identify as an Argonian as opposed to being an Argonian. How else could they fuck it up? Body type 1 and 2. So body type 1, male. Body type 2, female. Any questions? No. Great. Can you go topless since they're genderless? No, obviously not, because body type 2 is a female. So they just changed the label for no reason. Literally no reason. I have no fucking idea why companies are still doing this. And then a diligent person decided to publish body type 1 or 2, what the fuck does that mean? If I say body type 56, does anything come to mind? If I say male or female, does that render like an understanding in your head? Yes, it does. So someone decides to fix this because it's a mistake, and isn't there somebody you forgot to ask? Nexus official mod man. So this is like, I think like a fake, like an account that any user, any moderator can post as in order to avoid being doxxed. But let's see what they have to say. To everyone saying that this doesn't cause harm, remember the Fallout 4 mod that removed all the black people from the game? Yeah, this is the equivalent of that. It does cause harm because people believe it doesn't, and it neglects that under 1% of the population aren't also people. Sure, you don't need to download that mod or this mod, but the fact that it exists and people download it harms. I myself am trans, and I don't really care as long as I can play the gender I want to play as. But yeah, body type 1 and 2 doesn't really do a good job at helping either side. If it was a slider from mass to femme, it'd be significantly better. Oh wait, is this just like a random guy that's like a tranny? It says official modman though. I assume that this was a moderator because it said official in it, and they just let this guy post. People saying it preserves the original, it literally makes no impact on your experience beyond 2 lines of text you choose to then move on. It's literally the Starfield pronoun debate with the man-child cries that his pronouns exist, but others do too. So this got banned, and not only did the mod get banned, the guy that made it got banned, people re-uploaded it, they got banned, and their mods got banned. And then after enough gamer screeching, Gamergate 5 won. And they had to reverse their decision. Now, this is the actual official account from Picky Saurus, who says, this mod has been and will continue to be a source of controversy within the community. After a thorough review, we've determined that the content of the mod itself does not violate our community standards. However, due to the nature of the topic, which often attracts intense and sometimes hostile discussion, the comment section will remain locked to prevent further escalation. There has been a lot of speculation and misinformation regarding the removal of the original upload. To clarify, the mod was not taken down because of its content. As stated in the ban notice, it was removed due to the uploader's behavior. In the comments, the uploader expressed an intent to incite drama and endorse an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. That's base mods, by the way, in case you're curious. This kind of behavior directly violates our community standards. We recognize that mods like this can bring sensitive discussion around gender and identity to the forefront. While these important conversations, our platform exists to support creative expression and modding, not to serve as a battleground for broader cultural political debates. So even the Janny trannies on Nexus mods are like being beaten into submission. Suffa trannies. And by the way, compared to these other fucking games like Avowed and Dragon Age 4, which have less than 2,000 people playing, Oblivion, stealth dropped on the masses by Benevolent Todd, has over 100,000. So, and actually, its all-time peak, which is right now 100,000, is greater than what looks like it is almost greater than both Dragon Age 4 and Avowed put together. It is off by like 6,000 players, more than the other two put together. So all the advertising in the fucking world could not make some woke, shitty fucking game compete with a 20-year-old game prettied up by a bunch of Chinamen for $5 an hour. Dropped in the middle of the night. And it literally got dropped because the leak came out. And then Todd Howard was just like, well, that saves our marketing budget. And just dropped it on Steam. And it just immediately clowns on the other games. Truly, we are blessed to have a visionary like Todd Howard in the games industry. All right, this is something I neglected to do on stream last stream, and I regret that sincerely because it is really funny. As I mentioned last stream, there was a amazing, monumental precedent set by the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom that declared loudly and proudly that trans women are in fact just men in dresses. And this has caused a great amount of upset and angst, anal pain, and whinging, gnashing of teeth, as the British like to say, in the United Kingdom. So there are, of course, a lot of people responding to this, and I completely and totally neglected to take a moment to read some of that gnashing of teeth. Here, let's start off with the initial incident. Pink and Susan says, men deciding on what a woman is based on men deciding they are the master race based on myth and whimsy they have invited. Thus, this is nothing more than an ancient Greek statue, anatomically inaccurate. Like a complete nonsense post from a tranny pretending to be a woman, and then a crayon drawing of a Transformer avatar. All those judges are evil fucking people who just destroyed any remaining trans rights in this country because they couldn't see beyond the moral panic sweeping the country and their own bigotry. Disgusting people history will condemn. Sarah Lesbian. Oh my god. Every time I see a tranny calling himself a lesbian, I'm just like, yes. Yes. Another racist. Another woman has become racist seeing this fucking tranny talk in social media. It's like an instant win. Like, yes. It's just so obvious. You just want to rape women that are not into men because those are like the most unavailable women possible. The Supreme Court has reaffirmed today that trans people with or without GRC are totally protected from discrimination in the Equality Act. Lots of what gender-critical groups are now suggesting is clear discrimination. It will take time. They will soon be in court. As a we got a handmaiden here. As a biological woman, I love how when a handmaiden has to like discuss how they're a real woman, they have to say biological or natal, and it's like even trannies don't even like those terms. Just so you know, because I've been told by trannies that trannies actually are biological women because the brain is as much a part of biology as the penis and the ovaries. So if you are a female-brained individual, you are biologically female. And to say that a trans woman is not a woman natally seems to imply that people aren't born that way, chat. It's not. So it's wrong. It's wrong to call yourself a natal woman because it pretends that trans women aren't born the way they are. And it's wrong to call yourself biological because our brains are biological. It'll never be enough. Handmaidens will be beaten with sticks until morale improves. As a biological woman, I'm deeply upset and ashamed on this morning's decision with the UK Supreme Court, who didn't take into consideration the immense hardship already endured by trans women just to be recognized and the fragile lives they have now unanimously destroyed. Oh, they can move to Canada. Actually, don't move to Canada. Move to Germany. Oh, he's still trannies. Move to Germany. That's the safest country for you. More on the Reddit. Helpful one says, sigh. What did that bigoted island do this time? The Supreme Court just ruled that trans women are not women. Let it be known from now on that the UK has completely and utterly failed transgender people on every single level, and that this country is fully responsible for every trans person committing suicide in their borders. It's based on biological sex. Now, not what the biology is, and that we can include certain people while excluding others who we determine to be women but don't fit the criteria, blah, 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 blah. Oh, great, that includes many trans women who change their sex through medicine. So while it's still transphobic, we at least got, oh, wait, no, they have no idea how to define sex based on biology. Why do they pretend that this is a convincing argument? Sorry, bro, when they dig up your bones in your grave, they'll know it's a male skeleton. There's a reason we don't accept that as a definition of woman, because it always leaves out some intersex and cis women. I don't care about intersex people. If you're intersex, fuck you. Your marginal existence is not significant enough to impact this discussion. I just want to point that out there. I am openly discriminating against people who are classified as intersex. Whatever the fuck you think should never matter to anybody for any reason. This is just whinging. Oh, the biology doesn't agree with you. We determined that ovaries are fake, actually. Okay, this is all about the Queen of England, J.K. Rowling. I look forward to when J.K. Rowling dies for many reasons. One, I get to enjoy the book series again without benefiting her. Two, I get to enjoy the tattoo I have again. Oh no, Gryffindor bros. You have like a Schutzstaffel tattoo on your wrist with your fucking Gryffindor logo, bro. It sucks to be you. She is dead. Is point 3. I think J.K. Rowling is up there in the world for fascists who need to be blanked the most. Oh, I wonder. That's very subtle. Jackie Toali says financially backed by J.K. Rowling. If anyone continues to support J.K. Rowling, they can burn in hell. I don't think the Bible says anything about trannies going to heaven, my dude. Smile says, I never thought I would ever want to burn books, but I think we have a certain series that I just want to burn tonight because fuck J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling should die, in my opinion. Today would be a good day to let J.K. Rowling know that her grave will be used as a toilet repeatedly in the ages after she dies. Oh, she's going to be buried in a mausoleum where the Queen's ashes are stored. Fuck the UK, fuck J.K. Rowling, and fuck transphobes. Every day I hope Rowling dies in a fire. And then there is a, looks like pink slime. I think it's supposed to be blood. Oh, they have like a Hollywood Walk of Fame for British people. So it's just like a sidewalk in Birmingham. And they put pink ooze on it to show she's literally murdering trans people. I think trans people should be allowed to raise Fleet Street and burn down that fucking castle Rowling lives in too. Fuck that country. Anyway, J.K. Rowling is a rancid evil cunt, and I hope she lives in misery forever. J.K. Rowling is a heinous individual with no morals and then wipe arse of the anti-LGBTQ plus lobbyists. And the sooner we have a world free of bigotry spouted by people like her, the better. Okay, I get it. Trannies are mad. Here's a special tranny. This one's known to the forum. This is Sophie Molly. He says, you will never, ever stop me from accessing female spaces. It is my right to use them. No court, no government, no hate gang will ever take that away from me. You can arrest me, you can beat me, but I will always be a woman. That will never change. And then you have this lovely, lovely trans woman smiling at the thought of invading women's spaces after being explicitly told by absolutely everybody involved, from the common person to the highest court in the country, that they don't want you there. but it gets them off even more knowing that. Okay, I opened my door to get some air flowing, and now I am literally like crying right now because of my allergies. Um, I'm gonna turn on my fan. I'm sorry if that's like annoying. I might need snoofle breaks moving forward. Chat. 1 second. The stream must continue. It's a good stream, chat. More on Blue Sky. The only death of the author I'm interested in is J.K. Rowling actually dying. First, J.K. Rowling came for trans people and did not speak out because I was a Hufflepuff. As a fellow Hufflepuff, I know that feeling I'm a Hufflepuff, and what that means is that I allow the Slytherins to round up all the Troons and Avada them. And my silence is consent, effectively. I think that's what we're getting at here. Patty says, about to crush J.K. Rowling into a tomato paste for a batch of AutoZone chili. Ew. Just another normal tranny dreaming about eating women. Listen, I'm Scary OK says, as I have maintained since 2009, J.K. Rowling should be in the Hog. It's Den Hog. It's not the Hog. I personally believe that we should murder J.K. Rowling violently. J.K. Rowling is a terrorist and a bigger threat to women's safety than Al Qaeda. The United States of America should drone strike every Harry Potter land. J.K. Rowling is a disgusting blight upon humanity, keeping Crabgrave queued up in the other tab in preparation for our collective day of jubilation. Revi, trans avatar, says, when J.K. Rowling dies, everyone will be cheering, ain't nobody gonna be sad. Death to Rowling and death to these now worthless judges. This is okay, by the way, but saying mean words online is not okay. It's just the target. That's what matters. It's the target, chat. J.K. Rowling deserves to die, slowly and painfully, and horribly. Can someone just off J.K. Rowling because the mold is taking too long? Bringing out the guillotines. By the way, this is all allowed on Blue Sky. Completely okay on Blue Sky, the anti-free speech platform. Meanwhile, me saying praise God is not allowed on base, right-wing free speech X. Just a thought. This is on Pink News, so this is the comments of a gay news site. As a 75-year-old straight female, I feel sad for all the people who will now feel rejected by society. Boomer, boomer. I can't say what should happen to boomers, chat. I've been told this. But I'm impugning it into your brain through psionic waves, what should happen to boomers. There is such celebration in these pictures that I feel sad because some people in the rich tapestry of our world no longer feel like they are valued or seen and celebrated, as though it is a battle with winners and losers. Reminds me of Donald Trump's worldview and the poison of that. This has become a culture war simply because a very rich, very influential billionaire made it her cause on Twitter. I wonder how many people even gave it a thought before then. Me. I have been dealing with these people for 13 fucking years, and I hate them. I hate these fucking lunatics, and they should have no say on anything because they are deranged, and I don't fucking want them near any seat of power, making any decisions in any corporation on any other person. They should be at the absolute fucking bottom of every pyramid, every fucking totem pole. Nobody, nothing should be under their jurisdiction. They should be. It's like the caste. The Indians, the Jeets had it right. We need a caste system, and we need the fuck. What are is it the Dalits are the good ones or the bad ones? The untouchables. We need to put them in the untouchable caste. They're free to sweep it up. They're free to work in manual labor and mines and garbage dumps, but they cannot have any authority. They can't even manage a garbage dump. That's the rule. Fucking, like, I don't think people realize just how much other, like, normal people are impacted by deranged trannies, and they're actively shitting up everything all the time forever. This is on Reset Era. Fucking hell. Fuck off. The world's going backwards. I would have said the answer is simply fixing the law, but labor. It looks like people are going to have to get a lot more militant over there, unfortunately. All right, lads, put on your kilts, get your butter knives. We're storming the palace. We're cutting off their fucking heads. We're gonna need 10 strong trans women with 10 butter knives so we can saw off the fucking judges' heads. The armed they're gonna be tying the butter knives to sticks to make like pitchforks made of a dull metal. Maybe they should convert to Islam. I heard that the mosque in the UK have a lot of weapons in them. They can make use of that. Absolutely monstrous. Time to mobilize. Turf Island was true in fact, and now it's true in law. Fuck Joanne and the feckless, bigoted political class. I don't know what to say. Stay safe, UK trans. Not that it's worth much coming thousands of miles away, but you're loved and you will prevail. Sorry, snoofles. Let's read more like this. With this ruling, it's hard to imagine how progress on justice for people who are trans can be made in the UK's future. Will we forever remain Turf Island? I hope other countries have more compassion and sense. We failed. Germany, bro. The Germans want you. So intersex people don't exist. No, child. You do not exist. The UK is completely fucked in the political space. There's 3 shades of Tory and they all despise the LGBT. I fucking hate Starmer. All they do is hate. Disgusting. Let people live the way they want. No. Fun times when going for a pee will risk me being thrown into a men's prison. Love that. Based. Based. Live in fear. Live in fear. Live in doubt and fear all the fucking time forever and ever. The whole country can burn. Finally, something that I and Reset Era can agree upon. Okay, and this is a little update on somebody I've never talked about before. I don't think, maybe once or twice. I just want to show you this because somebody asked me and I thought it was funny. This is Anna O'Brien, also known as Glitters and Lasers, who is our second pig type lolcow related to lasers in some way. Spoiler alert. And she was a former health at any size influencer. Like she ran a TikTok or Instagram about like, I think Instagram about like, sure, I'm like 600 pounds, but I'm fit and healthy. Don't listen to the haters. Big bodies are beautiful, yada, yada. And then at some point she renounced all of her haze ways and said that she was going to try to lose weight. So she's, I think she's on Ozempic now. And she's been doing liposuction on her legs because she has really, really bad lymphedema. So now she has 2 legs of completely different sizes, which is like the end stage death fatism is when you have like lopsided legs as your lymphedema is growing out. Interesting. I don't blame her though. If you're that fat, it's time to start doing the Ozempic, start doing some liposuction, do literally anything. Like even it doesn't matter how dangerous Ozempic is. Like nothing is more dangerous than being that fucking size. No, it is kind of sad that she promoted that health at any size shit for so long and did damage to people. Okay. Another little female cow and a little update. We got Alyssa Mercant. Alyssa Mercant, of course, is the crazy prostitute who posts nude pictures of herself online. And she is a games journalist. I think I've actually voided any knowledge of her from my brain. I'm like, maybe just because of the allergies, but I'm like scrambling my brain trying to figure out what the fuck did she do again. I think she is a she's from Kotaku, of course. Okay, so let's see where she's up to. Last I heard that she filed a lawsuit against Smash JT. So she posted some zeets. Oh, sorry, some what do they call these? Skeets. That's right, skeets. Walking into a restaurant shift and feeling 25 again. Lamau, what a life, am I right? So I don't know. This might be a feint because obviously people are going to make fun of her, but it appears that she is working in a restaurant again. So she's like, I think like almost 40. And after losing her job at her Kotaku, she is now a waitress at a Denny's or something. That's my interpretation of this. Um, and obviously it's impossible to fucking feel bad for her. Sorry, I got a text message. Because she is still suing Smash JT, and in fact, if she is working at a restaurant, she appears to be working in a restaurant so that she can afford to sue this guy. And her amended lawsuit is fucking insane. And I don't know how much I want to read of this because it's 400 paragraphs long, and it's very like narrative prose as opposed to like litigation, which kind of makes it feel like a lawyer is just filing her ramblings for her. So she says in paragraph 26, as a result of his focus on Mercant and her rising star in video game journalism, she became a target for further harassment that eventually led to her resignation from Kotaku. Let's see what this says. I'll pick some random ones out. Tarzia, which is Smash JT, says, makes frequent use of New York residents to amplify and spread his message. Tarzia deliberately targets New York residents as both topics of his message and targets for harassment by his fans. Tarzia's contact with the state of New York is more than merely incidental or unintentional. Tarzia fully intends that his communications are sent to, viewed, reacted, and have their effect in New York. And this is just her trying to circumvent the fact that New York doesn't have any actual jurisdiction over him. This is very poetic, this title. Tarzia's star waxes as his vitriol increases, saying that he depends on being cruel to her and violating her rights in order to make any money. Tarzia repeated these claims on the Smash JT website that she used to be a sex worker, sucking dicks for money before she worked at Kotaku. Mercante has frequently spoken on the topic of sex work and does not consider sex work to be improper. Mercant has been on the past selling erotic photographs of herself, which is a form of sex work. Notably, being in support of sex work and working as a cam girl are not illegal actions. By contrast, engaging in sexual contact for money is a crime under New York. Libelous publications which allege a crime do more than provide mere insults. So that's the basis of her defamation lawsuit, is that he said specifically not that she was just a sex worker, but that she sucked dicks for money. She's saying that that is defamation per se, because if you accuse somebody of a crime, such as prostitution, that they're not actively engaged in, that is defamation per se. However, part of what makes defamation defamatory is that it has to be untrue, and it has to be a statement that to a reasonable person would be obviously untrue. So if you just go to if you hate a random woman who works at a Burger King and you put her online that she sucks dick for money, that is intentionally defamatory. You could say, well, she looks like the type. She looks like she sucks dick for money. She looks like a trash whore, and that wouldn't be reasonable to a person. But if someone says that she's a sex worker explicitly, and sex worker is a broad umbrella that incorporates everything from nude photography to sucking dick for money, then it's completely reasonable, and many people would assume from the term that you probably have sucked dick for money. So that is a terrible claim just on its own. The 159, this is her side. The I suck dick tweet was prompted by and responding to Tarzia's false claim, not the other way around. I forgot. She actually did make a tweet where she says, I suck dick for money. She's toast, man. This is just wasting this poor guy's fucking money. I hope that he gets to recoup expenses from her, because what a fucking parasite. That is complaints that he used pictures of her, which he's allowed to do. He received a retraction request and didn't. That's important to establish, because if you ask somebody for a retraction and they don't do it, basically what the courts want you to do, and this is a big part of defamation lawsuits, when you sue somebody for defamation, you first have to give them an opportunity. You don't have to, but it helps your case a lot. to give somebody an opportunity to redact their defamatory claims. So you send them a cease and desist. And the reason why is if you take the time to explain to somebody that something that they said or something that they host online is defamatory and they choose to ignore your correspondence, that's an indication of actual malice, which is a big part of winning a defamation case, especially if you're somebody who's like a semi-notable figure like Alyssa Mercant. Bias-related violence or intimidation, which is the IIED tort, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Intentional infliction of emotional distress is a very, very, very hard tort to win in the United States. There was precedent set like 20 years ago where the Westboro Baptist Church intentionally showed up at a gay soldier's funeral with the God hates fags and God kills our fag troops signs. And this was in like full display of the family in the funeral procession, and then the woman Shirley Phelps Roper went onto a local radio station to explain why God hates fags and stuff, and that was also like in the community. So the family got like a lot of shit from them at the funeral and around them, and this went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and in like an 8-1. How many people are on the Supreme Court? It's 7, right? So like in a 6-1 decision. It was only one dissent is what I'm trying to say. They decided that it was not IIED, and the only person who dissented was a guy who had a military background. I forget who. And he says, like, if this doesn't rise to the level of intentional infliction of emotional distress, then nothing does. And he's kind of right. So but you know, he was butthurt because he's a fucking soldier. Army guys always stand up for each other. Good old boys. Sorry, I know this. I'm just like, that's the allergy shot. You got to be easy on me. And then this is the best part. So in the summary, it says this: he conducts his campaign of harassment and emotional terrorism. She is officially bringing forth the unheard of tort against him for emotional terrorism. What the fuck that means, nobody knows. I don't think she even knows what that means. But emotional damage. Yeah, right. Emotional terrorism, chat. Don't let it slide. It's the same thing as blowing people up and shit. Okay. So, last week, Keemstar got caught cheating. If you don't know, he married in a non-legal but in religious way to a woman that's like half his age. And then, despite having a wife half his age, he's still cheating on her with like former production assistants. So, I've actually not listened to these because I can't stand Keem's voice, and him trying to be sexy is probably horrific. So, I'm going to torture you guys with this now. So let's see. Let's take a listen.
And then when I woke up, he went to sleep. So like we weren't even like having a relationship or anything. And he had essentially been raping me for the last 5 years because I never wanted to have sex. And if I didn't have sex with him, he would beat me. So I never like opened up about it, right? And I stayed with him.
Why didn't you tell me this right away? Okay, first of all,
I was stuck.
You are a very attractive girl, and you could be hotter if you had money. Literally, the only reason why.
I don't know. Have you not seen my recent Twitter post? It is blowing up because I'm hot. Even RTU simped on it.
Wait, Sammy.
I got you. Hold on.
Sammy, you could be like smoking hot. Like, dude, when I met Brantley, she wasn't looking that hot, bro. I had to fucking dial her up. Now she looks like a fucking 11, 15. Brantley's like smoking.
Brantley is hot. I won't lie.
Okay, someone gets raped. You say that she's sexy.
So you sent that to him?
I sent it to him, I think, last year. So it's in our like Discord DM somewhere, and I sent it to him last year.
When you were about to send me your boobies, I was like, I want to see them, but I don't want to see them because, like, then somehow it's going to get leaked, and then it's going to be Keemstar leaked her boobies. But I want to see them. But no, I don't want to see them. I'm like, Brantley, should I get Lynx's boobies? And she's like, yeah. And I was literally just laughing this whole time because I'm like, bro, I'm about to cross that line. I'm about to go into the danger zone.
God.
It's so cringe. Where's the good part? I know there's one thing. Okay, this is the good one.
I'm staying single for a while, but eventually I want to know what a good fuck is like when you're not being forced.
Dude, chat, I know there are young men who listen to my podcast. If you're ever talking to a woman, she just randomly brings up, like, if there's that line of, like, from Fight Club where Marla Singer says, I haven't been fucked like that since grade school. Red alert, danger, abort, do not proceed, do not pass go, do not collect $200, get the fuck out of there.
If you know what I mean. Yeah. No.
Are you flirting with me right now?
No. I'm just saying.
I haven't been fucked good since I've been raped. Are you flirting with me right now, bro? What's wrong with this guy? I honestly, I thought Keem was, like, better put together. I guess his breakup with his last girlfriend kind of put him on tilt.
In a general sense. Why do you want me? Do you want me to be flirting with you right now?
I saw a flinch in your face. You son of a bitch. You will stay away from this Keem cock right now.
Oh my god. Yes, sir. Oh my goodness.
Any other good ones? Let's see. Oh my god.
Okay, that makes sense. I look fucking old and retarded right now. Like, you don't understand. 6 a.m. me does not look normal. Do I look normal right now?
You look high strung.
Motherfucker, I should be in the nursing home right now. Look at this. My face is like all fucked up. My eyes are all like... my beard... No beard straightener went through this bitch. Look at this bush.
Beard straightener?
Well, yeah, otherwise I have this... You know what I mean? Like...
Do you ever, like, hot iron it?
No. I got a beard straightener. So what happens is, like, after sex, I must shower. Like, I absolutely must. All right? And I'll sit in the bed for a little bit. I'll hang out, right? Filled with shit. But then I must shower. And then after I shower, this beard will go like...
Oh, okay.
Because of the humidity. And then I must beard straighten it. I didn't have a chance to beard straighten it tonight.
That's I have to also, if I clean my hair and I don't reintroduce oil to it, my hair gets, like, super poofy, which is crazy because I have a lot of hair. Like, my hair is super thick. Because I'm an Italian stallion, chat. And then I like, my hair always looked terrible throughout my entire life. And then someone told me, you got to put coconut oil in it. I was like, okay, I'll try it, because I always look like shit. I look like shit with, like, stupid puffy mutt hair. So then I started adding oils back into it, and it's like, it's so much better. But he has to do that with his beard. So there was an episode of Sex and the City I remember seeing, and I know this because my mom would watch Sex and the City. I remember that there was a episode where the girl was upset because she was dating a guy who immediately after having sex would run into the bathroom to take a shower, and it made her feel dirty. And that kind of makes me think of Keemstar. Keemstar reminds me of this, because it's like, okay, after we have sex, I got to go take a shower, and then I got to wax my beard. Okay, let's see this one. I'm just gonna listen to this. Is a 4-hour long conversation with this guy. Have I awarded this guy a trophy for listening to the Keemcock thing? I have not. What a shitty admin I am, chat. He's just shooting me pearls. I'm not even giving him stickers.
I, like, truly can see through you.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can.
You're so transparent to me, but you're not transparent to anyone else. Like, no one else sees you. No one.
That's pretty
Not
crazy.
Boogie. Not Boogie, not Wings, not fucking any of these other fucking hosts, not any of the people in Discord. Like, nobody can see you. I could see you like day one.
I know, I mean, I like the cockiness to an extent. It's hot to an extent. And then sometimes it's just outright ridiculous.
Was that it right there? Was that the ridiculous moment?
Yeah.
Why is she recording this? Did she intend to do this? Is this like insurance? Is this like the consequence of being raped? That now you have to like record all of your conversations as like an insurance policy or something? 'Cause that's what it seems like. I guess Keemstar could have done himself a great favor by not sticking his dick in crazy, but I guess it's a little bit too late for that. Let's do another. Demands compliments on his beard. That sounds good too. These are all very good.
And I could see on your face that you were so happy that I was checking in on you. And that feeling that you had of like warm or whatever the fuck, I was having too. We were having the same fucking feeling. Like, we're like, I don't want to be gay or anything, but like we're meant to like be together. In
Oh my
some
god,
aspect,
dude!
right?
This is like emotional manipulation 1-on-1. You got to instill in the BPD girl that she's your oneism. That you want her. Sure, you're already married religiously to a woman half your age, but she's the real one, and it was meant to be. So fucking transparent. I wonder how many people does he just like pay them to not do this? How is he? How? Because he's so old. He must have done this before.
Fuck.
Fuck.
I've opened up way too much. Talk about my beard and how much you like my beard again. Right now. Do it now.
Your beard is so hot.
Beard is so hot. At gunpoint. You can hear she sounds sad when she says that too.
Beard is so hot.
Now. Do it now.
Your beard is so hot.
It's like an ISIS video. It's like, you know, say the line, comrade. I accept Muhammad as my prophet. Yeah. Yeah, Keem, your beard is super sexy, bro. You know, maybe they can get like a Baldo for his beard. It is kind of a phallic shape. It's like a cone. Maybe he could put some kind of silicone on it and then like beard fuck them. I bet you he would do that. If he could fuck women with his beard, he would do that shit for sure. No way that he wouldn't. Okay. Let's do one more. It says, get that pussy popped, he says. His computer dies. That's not funny enough. More tech issues. Happy ending. This one's shorter. Oh my god, that sounds funny. That sounds like properly funny.
When you hired me, did you ever have any ulterior motives?
Absolutely not. None. The only time I even remotely found you sexually attractive is probably when I seen your tits.
Her response, okay, like, wow, what a thing to say. Yeah, bitch, basically you're ugly. I'm gonna like, when I saw you, like, god, that bitch is fucking ugly. I could not even possibly think about her in a sexual way, but then I saw her naked. I'm like, you know, throw a bag on her. You throw a bag on her and you got something workable. You got something workable for the old Keemcock down there. What a Rizzler. Is that what the kids say these days? I know Keemstar likes to do TikTok dances, so I can call him a little Rizzler.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Damn. Oh, he realized he fucked up. The awkward silence, because she like was like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh shit. That was a faux pas. My statements were actually not well articulated. And now he's trying to he's using 110% of his brain. He's even offloading some of that work to the beard itself to try and figure out what the fuck to say next. I can't wait. I want to hear the rebound.
I get girls. You know what I mean? I'm not like.
Oh my!
You know what I mean? Like,
Wow! It's like a neg. It's like a neg. His rebound is like, well, you know, I get bitches all the fucking time. You're like a 3 to me. Oh, what a cocksucker!
Like, okay, another girl. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
you know.
that's fair.
That's fair.
It was deeper than that. I like you. You know, it wasn't about fucking, you know, whatever. You are kind of like my body type. I like skinny girls for sure, but it wasn't about that at all. I promise you.
Sorry, I'm distracted because I've received midstream, very rudely. I've received midstream news that one of my interests. I am somebody. I'm aware of my position in the world. Okay, I'm aware that I am the Eye of Sauron, and I am the unmoved mover. When I start talking about stuff, it ends up filtering through the ecosystem. So I try not to put my eye on things that are going to ruin something that has its own ecosystem. Like right now, Kino Casino is very obsessed with this guy called PWR. So I'm leaving that to them. I know I know he can be funny, but I'm not gonna. It's just some guy goofing around on stream. Not my kind of thing to begin with. But there's a couple people on the back burner, and one guy who I have been inordinately nice to. Is in some kind of rough patch in his life because apparently he is having mini meltdowns every stream to the point where he's like deleting his streams after they're done. And I'm trying to secure a clip because I've been informed that perhaps it's very funny. And if I manage to get it before the stream ends, I will watch it on stream. That's it for the Keemcock. I'll leave it there. I don't want to make you listen to 4 hours of what's his face being sexual. Let's go to DSP. DSP was streaming, and despite the fact that he has constant money issues and makes like $20 a stream, he decided that he was going to buy a Nintendo Switch. Now, I left on the cutting room floor a bunch of stuff about the Nintendo Switch. Apparently, it's like $900, and the gamers are very upset about that. And I think that Nintendo is now releasing their first-party games at $80 a pop, which, inflation's a thing, and the price of games hasn't really changed that much. But if you say that, you get like literal essays, 50-minute long videos about how how that's not a good point. So I will say I have no opinion on the raising of the price of video games. I'm not ever going to fucking play a Nintendo Switch 2 game, so it doesn't affect me. It's not me to care about. But Darkside Phil in his infinite wisdom decided that he would buy not just one, but 2 Nintendo 2 Switches, spending almost $2,000 the first minute that the game console is available. And he very loudly and proudly decided to show off that he got the Nintendo Switch. Let's see if I can see this real quick. I know there's a word that he says. Let's see. Oh, is this like cut out? I remember that he said something about his address. I don't know if I'll be able to find the exact one, but what he does, because I didn't think about showing this, because he shows off his receipt that he got from Walmart, and the receipt, number one, includes his home address, but it also includes his receipt number, and that is the very this is the stream from after. Okay, I understand. I'm not going to find it. So they took the receipt number and then just called Walmart and canceled the order. And at first, because it was 2 different orders, I think. So he gets a cancellation notice, and he's like, I was going to give that to Kat, or maybe I'd give it back to the community. Like, he was teasing. Like, he obviously bought 2 Switches so he can scalp it and sell the other one at markup. So he bought 2 to make a little bit of money. And then he's going to pretend that it's either for his wife or he's going to give it back to the community as fucking if he's going to give away Nintendo Switch 2 to anybody. For no money. So that happens, and he just loses 1 Switch, and he's like, okay, well, I've only lost 1 Switch, right? So he's in his room and he gets a notification, and the conversation goes something like this, chat. Die Nintendo Switch Bestellung wurde von Detractors genannt. Kein Problem. Die zweite Nintendo Switch ist bereits in der Post. Mein Schweinekakerlake. Die andere Bestellung. Die andere würde ebenfalls storniert. Es wird keine Nintendo Switch geben. And then he just freaks the fuck out and starts throwing shit across the fucking room. That's exactly what happened on stream. I think I even have a clip for this where he just throws shit. Wait, here we go. All goals hit, but the trolls break the law to screw me over. Okay, let's see.
Well, everyone, this is the Daily Wrap for Wednesday, the 23rd, 2025. I actually already filmed a Daily Wrap, and it was a really positive, great one. And now I have to refilm this an hour later at 11:16 p.m. to tell you how messed up my situation is when people say things about how Phil over-exaggerates and Phil constantly is just talking out of his butt. So here's what happened today. We had two great streams. The first stream was Oblivion Remastered. Great fun. We hit the goals. Then the late stream was also a great stream of me building the first half of my Lego Piranha plant. We hit the goal again, which means that tomorrow we're doing DSP tries at Chipotle, and that's awesome. At 8:55 p.m., I attempted to get the Switch 2. I was going between multiple different websites, including Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and more. Couldn't get it from anywhere but Walmart. Added 2 to cart. Actually checked out both the Mario Kart bundle and this regular Switch 2. Regular Switch 2 was coming June 5th on release day. The other one is coming June 8th. Great. Checked out, paid, good to go. Finishing up my work, turned the stream off. Okay, I'm going to film the Daily Wrap. As I'm filming this Daily Wrap, I announce, hey, I got 2 Switch 2s. What a great day. Everything's amazing. And then I check my email where it proceeds to tell me that both orders have been canceled. Does it say that it's because of an error on Walmart? No, it says I canceled the orders. So I'm currently talking with Walmart right now about someone socially engineered my account on Walmart.com, and through basically very basic information, which it must have been because it certainly wasn't anything crazy, they got access and canceled my orders. So now I don't have a Switch 2. I was going to get 2. I was going to keep 1, maybe give 1 to my wife, maybe have a backup in case the Switch 2 failed at launch, because that's what happened with the Switch 1. Maybe eventually do a giveaway. And now I have...
Liar. There's nobody on the face of the fucking planet who believes that Darkside Phil was intending to give away his Nintendo Switch. That shit was scalped for sure. And if it had happened that he got both and one of them died the first week for whatever reason, he would have some other bullshit excuse about why he didn't have why the other one was gone. Like everyone would be like, "Didn't you buy $2,000 worth of game consoles? Where's the other one?" He's like, "Wow, my cat, you see, Kat's going through her medical issues, and she was in the hospital, and then she was in the oncology unit, and then a little baby child with cancer came out and says, Madame, do you have the Nintendo Switch too? Could I please just feast my eyes upon its magnanimous glory?" And then she was just overwhelmed with sympathy for this dying child that she gave it away. And that's why Darkside Phil only has 1 Switch. That would be his story. That would be his story for why he scalped the other one.
Nothing. So I want you guys to understand again that when people say that, oh, DSP exaggerates or whatever, no, they actually do this stuff to me. This is why I refuse to give any personal details about anything in my life. This is why I will not film anywhere in my house. I will not do IRL vlogs. Anything that I do that's information, they use to hurt me. So I worked my butt off tonight getting 2 Switch 2s, and now I have nothing.
He worked his
people
butt
screwed
off.
Me. I don't even know how they got access to the account. I'm talking to the rep right now, which is the noise that you're hearing, bling, bling, bling. So here's the deal. Tomorrow, Level 1 podcast and the premiere.
Dude, they just called and said, I need to cancel something. I got a receipt. And they're like, oh, what's the receipt number? Who's it going to? Philip Brunel and this address in Seattle. And you want to cancel both? Is that right? Yeah, just cancel both. Just release the order. Like, okay. Okay, is there anything else I can do for you? Thank you for calling Walmart. If you stay at the end, there's going to be a quick survey to tell how I did. That's the social engineering. It requires a little 20 trillion IQ to do this, you know? Okay, I'm going out of order. Actually, you know what? This is the absolute perfect time to do this after this. So, Billy Mitchell, for no good reason, tweeted at Billy Mitchell, the guy that beat Carl Jobs, the King of Kong, says, Billy 100% watches Kino Casino and or Maddie, doesn't he? Billy Mitchell says, I discovered them this month and watched a bit. Entertaining content for sure. And I said at PPP, we made it at Power of the Truth. And then I asked him in one of my replies, I said, Billy, did Carl ever walk up to you and call you cute? Because he just, he posted the embarrassing pickup artist video. And then he replies, says, is Ricky's the official hot sauce of the Kiwi Farms? So this is not a mere incident. He did not merely discover these things on YouTube and then comment on them. He's around. He's with us now, if not physically in spirit. So here's a fun fact. Someone bought me his hot sauce, and I'm due for a mail run soon. So I'm going to pick that up. And as I mentioned, I have to set up the RDC thing. So I'm going to go get that hot sauce. And then I'm going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. And I'm going to get some boneless chicken tendies. And I'm going to try it with the Buffalo Wild Wings sauce, Frank's hot sauce, and then Ricky's. And I'm going to let you know. And that's going to be the Locals content. Matt at theinternet.locals.com or Matty.com or Matty.live/dono. Join now, and when I get the hot sauce, you'll get to know if it's the official hot sauce of the Kiwi Farms or not before anybody else. Yeah, Kiwi Farms, exactly. Our first sponsorship, Ricky's Hot Sauce. By the way, as far as the coffee review, I'm still doing that. I have the coffee brand coffee. However, I mentioned I'm going to compare it to a meme coffee. I have another meme coffee coming in, and it's going to take until May. So after it comes in, I'll do the coffee review as well. It's just my plug for the locals. Matt@theinternet.locals.com. Subscribe now. Okay, so this is the appropriate time to drop this in. This is a breaking news, and breaking in that PPP literally messaged me midstream to message me about this, and then I decided, okay, I have to talk about this. As I mentioned, there are certain people that I'm aware of, and for various reasons, I do not blast them openly on my stream because it's a multifaceted consideration based on a per individual basis, chat. I have appeared on a stream with a guy called iHypocrite. iHypocrite is a what's the appropriate word? He's a content aggregator. His job description is that he runs a very large Twitter account called iHypocrite. And he also runs a Facebook group. And his thing is that he, one, stays unbanned, and two, he aggregates content. So he'll post articles without any kind of comment. So because his comments could be used to get him banned. So if he just posts screenshots of things, it's much safer. He does this on both Twitter and also on Facebook. And I think that he has hundreds of thousands of followers. However, he's not content with that. What he wants to do is go into live streaming. So I've played one video of him melting down in a live stream because people were rightly calling him out for something for Andrew Tate, because Andrew Tate said something about the Jews, so therefore he's based, and that was basically his point. Like, I don't care who's saying it. If they're calling out the JQ and bringing attention to the JQ, then that is always righteous. It doesn't matter who the speaker is. More people that's the ends justify the means. The ends justify the means. That's right. That's correct. So I played that because he got so angry he just shut off his stream. And from my understanding, he's mad at Kino Casino because Kino Casino is making fun of him for his proximity to Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is in a spot that I'll talk about next, but I'll interrupt for this. At a certain point, even though I've been on his podcast, I unfollowed him on Twitter, and apparently he pays attention to this. So he noticed and is mad. And in one of these clips that I have, apparently he talks about this and gets mad. So if you are interested in iHypocrite's stuff, you need to know that from what I've been told is that he is actively deleting his content when he realizes that he had a bad stream and he shuts it off, he immediately deletes the VOD so that people can't pick on him. So if this is your kind of slop that you're interested in, you are going to have to actually go out of your way to archive it in real time. Because the last one that I saw was funny, and I that was kind of my warning shot where it's like, you know, I didn't find that myself. I didn't see that myself, and I clipped it, and then I talked about it. People send that to me, and I'm like, look, bro, I know you're having a rough time with things, and I'm trying to be nice, but people are starting to notice. And he talks about me unfollowing him on Twitter, which is the gayest thing to be upset about. The reason why I unfollowed him on Twitter is because iHypocrite is a habitual mark for, in particular, OnlyFans whores self-promoting. So there's that woman that had sex with 1,000 guys supposedly in one day, and that becomes a massive sensationalist story. And it's like, this, number one, the story is probably fake. Number two, this is just advertising for her OnlyFans. So why are you giving it to her? But he does this constantly. Like, I think it's his best engagement is when he promotes like an OnlyFans whore, and then a bunch of people like rage in the comments and retweet it. And like, I think that's his best engagement metrics. So he does it continuously. And it's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be made aware of it. In the inner sanctum of my fucking mind, the temple of my body, I do not want this information in my fucking head at all. I don't care if some lady sucked 1,000 cocks in one day. I just don't give a shit. I don't want to hear about her new exploits. I don't want to hear it. So that's why I unfollowed him. He's also like extremely anti-white woman, and it's just like, I don't care. I don't want to see this shit. I don't. So I unfollowed him, and he's upset about this. So I'm very curious what this clip is, and then I have another one that PPP actually sent me in clip directly. So let's hear it. This is him being mad about Kino Casino making fun of him, I think.
Play it after I get through this first segment, which is about the Kino Casino. It's about skeletons in people's closets, like what Ye talked about. It's about Nick Fuentes canceling his appearance on the progress report yesterday. It's all of this stuff is tied together. So I want to just talk about it and get it all off my chest. And then we'll go back to our normal shit posting. And also, we're never going to talk about Kino Casino again after this.
I bet you, motherfucker, $500 fucking dollars. You might not say the words Kino Casino, but I got a feeling.
Okay, so this will be a banned topic after today. If you want to do a call-in show, call in about it. Like, that's fine. There's no holds barred on the call-in show. But I don't want to hear about Kino Casino in the chat or the super chats after today. Okay, so if you have something to say, get it off your chest today. And because going forward, if I even get a whiff off of you that you watch that shit, I'm just gonna ban you.
Oh my
and I
God.
encourage my mods to do the same, please. And regardless of any context, if somebody comes in tomorrow and says "fuck Kino Casino," I hate Kino Casino, just ban that person. It's like a banned topic, one of a handful. Anyway, Nick did cancel the show, unfortunately.
Nick Fuentes was supposed to stream with them, then he realized what a terrible fucking idea that was, so he canceled. Okay, this is supposedly about us, but before that, let's see what this one is. This is out of order. I don't know what order these are in. We're just going.
Now I'm gonna listen carefully. I'm gonna try to explain this like I'm talking to a 5-year-old. I said the quartering is not broke, and a lot of the people who are in the audience of these shows, this goes for Josh as well, whoever, don't have even close to the level of personal wealth of the quartering, and yet they're sitting there and laughing about him being broke, and that's stupid, right? This is the point. Is like you're making up a untrue headcanon about another person so that you can feel better than them and laugh at them and enjoy their failure and their misery, but it's not even true. That's the point I was making. I wasn't saying Quartering is a better person than you because he makes more money than you. Quartering is a better person than most of you because he's married and I think has kids. Does he have kids? Old here.
So I don't know if I called quartering broke. I know PPP because that's what PPP does. Like whenever he went, like he sees people that are like 50 pounds overweight, and PPP, who's like 500 pounds, goes, "He's fat." Just at the top of his voice, just shouts, "He's fat." And then Jeremy goes into debt and he goes, "He's broke." Well, he's got a fucking plane. He's obviously not broke in like the most traditional sense of what that means. However, I would say that if he's taking out unsecured consumer debt to finance a business in his own personal name, that's a bad sign. It's either that he's out of money and can't afford to finance his own business through his own cash, or he's making bad decisions. Because if you're taking out a loan to finance your business, unless it's making money, which Coffee Brand Coffee is not, you're probably going to be, your profit margins are going to be eaten into by your interest rate. Which, if it's, how much is like a personal loan? It's like 12% minimum from like a good credit union for like a personal loan, right? So that's 12% APR on $80,000. You gotta make a lot of fucking money just to pay off the interest rate on that loan. So it's not that he's broke; it's that his business is obviously broke, and the way that he's choosing to structure his assets seems weird and like a bad idea. And this one's supposedly about the unfollowing.
Josh does the same thing. I gotta admit, I've lost a lot of respect for Josh over the last couple of weeks. Because I've come to realize that he unfollowed me on Twitter, and I asked him why, and he said because you post fake shit all the time.
It's true.
Not stuff that isn't true.
Not just OnlyFans stuff. He posts like a lot of stuff that is just flatly fucking wrong, especially if it's about women. Like I think I can't remember exactly what it was that I saw, but there was that Twitter thing, and I'm sorry, this is Twitter drama. This is the gayest fucking shit. But what happened is that a woman posted a TikTok about how she was upset at her husband not taking out the trash or something. There's more to it, but it got reposted to Twitter by a woman who had an OnlyFans. So the people who were retarded and were just trying to find a reason to hate this woman for making her husband take out the trash were like, "Oh, she's an OnlyFans whore and she can't find the time to take out the trash. Gross." But those are two different people. And this got repopulated. Like this circulated far. I saw people on my forum reiterating garbage that they read on Twitter that wasn't fucking true. And this is entirely because the shit spreads through people like iHypocrite. He does it continuously, where he sees a catchy headline or whatever the fuck, or like a Twitter exchange, and then he just republishes that without any kind of scrutiny on if it's true or not. And it does damage to people who actually follow him and who believe this shit because he doesn't do his due diligence. Which is like, if you're a content aggregator, and that's like the most friendly, nice way to phrase and frame what you do online as a content creator, is then you should take some pride in making sure that what you're republishing is actually accurate information. And he doesn't do that. He continuously saw shit that was just like fucking wrong.
And I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Sometimes I do get it wrong. I was like, whatever. I took him at his word. But I've since come to realize that Josh doesn't like me because I don't hate Nick Fuentes. I'm sure at this point that's
not it. That's not it. What a fucking cope. Like the Nick Fuentes thing is like, yeah, it casts shade. Like if you are associated with Nick Fuentes, it's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? But I try. I do my best to not do guilt by association, especially if it's just like, bumping elbows or whatever. It's a little bit different when it's like Vito, and then what's the other guy, Digibro, or it's like, he's staying at your fucking house and he's like actively talking about wanting to fuck kids. It's like that. That's where it's like the stank is so toxic. Where it's like, but Nick Fuentes, like, make your fucking money, bro. I don't give a shit about Nick Fuentes.
That's what it is. Because Josh has an unhealthy, weird hatred and obsession with Nick Fuentes, and Josh follows PPP. So PPP is a purveyor of truth to Josh, but not me. All right, I get it.
Listen.
I see what's going on here.
Listen, here's the words of wisdom. You can either be fat and jolly or a skinny bitch. Okay, those are your two fucking options. You cannot you cannot be a bald bitch. If you're gonna be a gilder of lilies, you better be fucking fat and jolly about it. Okay. Okay. I had no choice now. Now I have to skip ahead to the Nick Fuentes stuff, and then I'll go back to Idubbbz next. So, what's our boy Nick up to? Well, it starts with this. Our boy Yeezy, on the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, decided that he would update his fans with some personal information about him that caused some commotion, some ruckus on the platform. Let's see what he has to say. This song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and we decided to act out what we saw. His dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of his mom's closet were different. My name is Yee, and I sucked my cousin's dick until I was 14. Tweet sent. And I haven't actually watched this music video. Let's take a listen, chat. Awesome compression. I think I can show this on stream. This is getting pretty dangerous, chat. Nitrous don't help me. It just puts me in a trance. So he is, not only is he schizophrenic, dude, all those rumors about him doing nitrous oxide were correct. He is doing nitrous. I'm talking about you. I was sticking through the song. I wonder if there's any other bangers that get dropped. That's his song about sucking his cousin's dick and doing nitrous oxide, I guess. Interesting choice. Released in response to this was Azealia Banks, one of his ex-girlfriends, saying, "Nobody can realistically collab with Kanye after all that Nazi shit in this economy, honey. Only Fat Dave Blunt is eligible for blacklisting because he's already fucking immobile. High key, I know Dave Blunt's fat is probably in there hoovering Kanye's dick like them cheeseburgers. Kanye weird ass his deaf face fucking humiliating that stationary blob, farting on him high on nitrous, waking him up with piss and slapping him while his face is wet. When you fat like that, you gotta be depressed as fuck. You're sucking dick, writing raps, and eating them ham 1,000%. I think Azealia Banks is also like a schizo lolcow. I think she has a thread. So, according to her, he's like high key gay. Apparently, he's known for being gay in the industry, and also she says that he liked butt stuff. So she's come out and said that he's for sure actually gay. Oh yeah, she calls Kanye a throat goat, which is disgusting. So Is there anything I want to say about Kanye? Okay, before I talk about... No, actually, let's do the show Nick Fuentes first, and then I'll mention it. So, Nick, this immediately, when you think about Kanye like this, in our sphere, we think, okay, how is Nick Fuentes going to respond to this? Because he's basically coupled his entire movement on the back of Kanye at this point. So, surprisingly to me, he actually comes out defending Kanye, saying, realest human being on Earth. He clarifies on his show...
In my thoughts. So I love it. I love when people go mask off. People said, why is he wearing a mask? Then he went mask off. Now everybody's got a problem. And I really do believe that if you can't handle someone at their lowest, if you can't handle the most broken parts about somebody or somebody's vulnerabilities, you don't deserve them when they're being braggadocious, when they're being maximalist, whatever. People want to hear the good news. They want to hear the hype song. They want to hear whatever. And even people that are fans of him, they love his music. Oh, you're the greatest. You're a great artist. Oh, I love you so much. And then the minute someone starts singing the song that you don't like, the minute someone starts singing the song that's not telling you everything's great, go get excited for work, get excited to work out and go to the gym. They're not giving you something basic. Then people go, oh, I'm turning that off. I'm turning you off now. Unfortunately, that's how life is. So that's how people are. Anyway, so those are my thoughts. I've been thinking about it a lot today. That's the thing. It's thought-provoking. I saw it, and it made me think. I thought a lot about it. And that's more than you could say about some boring fucking faggot who is just like, today I ate my scrambled eggs and I went to the gym and I have to live a certain type of way. Oh, I had smoked a cigarette and I have to live a certain type of way. Fuck you, kill yourself, mediocrity, fucking boring mediocrity. I'll take eccentric, exceptional, thought-provoking over fucking boring, cookie-cutter, mediocre loser any day of the week. But that's just me. Some people disagree.
He has to eat so much shit for associating with this fucking retard. One more thing. Apparently he's going to be on an album with them after this, too.
Nick Fuentes? Oh, yeah. All right, we got to get Nick Fuentes. Yeah. Yeah, we get Nick.
His like little white boy voice. That's funny.
We got to get Nick Fuentes. Yeah, we get Nick Fuentes on an album.
That's really, really funny. That's great. That's really funny. Oh god, I forgot what I was gonna say about Nick because that caught me off guard. Okay, so part of his defense is that Kanye is being open about his issues. And some people also raise this in the forum thread about how, people talk about how we have to do something about child abuse, but then when someone talks about, child abuse, everyone throws popcorn at them. And, I think the main issue is not that, because there is room for discussion about how early exposure to pornography affects young boys, because it most certainly does in a detrimental way. And I think that there is space to talk about that. However, just kind of dropping in the middle of a schizo episode that you sucked your cousin's dick, because it's not like he has remorse. You know what I mean? Like, we did these things, and I have to live with that, and I live with, like, constant guilt and shame, and I worry that maybe what I did caused him to kill somebody, that kind of thing. It's very, like, flippant, which it seems very unrepentant and kind of disrespectful to his murderer cousin. It's just strange. It's a strange thing to co-sign because it's not It's really gross, bro. I don't know if you can call it pedophilia or like how that's influenced him as an adult, but it's really fucking gross. Yeah. It's just like a weird thing. Anyway, sorry, I went on a whole well, skipped ahead for the Nick Fuentes stuff because I wanted to talk about that after the iHypocrite stuff. For iHypocrite, it's just like, you know, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what's going on with him because I don't remember him being like so angry at people for stupid shit in the past. But now everybody, like he wants to mess with PPP. PPP is like the number one shit flinger. When people try to like fuck with me, I mostly just ignore them because I don't find that entertaining. Like that back and forth where people respond and then you respond to them. But PPP does. He's very happy to get into the shit with you. So, I don't know. Maybe his total censorship ban on mentioning any kind of kinos or casinos in his chat will help him long term. But if he wants to ride or die with Nick Fuentes, you gotta tackle the gay logs where they're at, man. You can't just sit on the passenger side of this. You gotta put in the work. Okay, let's wind back to Idubbbz. So on the last episode, we talked about how Idubbbz did a content cop on H3. I actually heard a very interesting theory about that content cop and why it was so bad. And my thought, I actually kind of agree with this. I mentioned at the beginning there's the anti-Kino where Idubbbz takes off his police uniform, like he shreds it as if to try and say like, this is a content cop, but as like a new Idubbbz, so I don't need the uniform. We're not doing the old thing. And that was kind of like anti-Kino. But someone pointed out to me that there's a weird cut when he like tears his uniform off where he puts on his clothes. And throughout the rest of the video, he's just wearing his clothes. And it made me wonder if it was not actually supposed to be a content cop. And he had already filmed and edited his whole video. And then something happened. And he realized, I need to make this under the content cop label. So that, for whatever reason, like that's the mystery. Like, did he think that if he made it a content cop, it would get a better reception? That more people would watch it? I think it's gotten 10 million views. So maybe that's why. And it's just sort of like, is he like desperate for money? Like what exactly made him want to do that? I'm not watching an entire 20-minute long video response from H3. If you want to watch it, it's on the forum. It is pretty good. There is one specific part that I clip out. In particular, I want to say that H3 at some point received 2 human skulls in the mail. My understanding is that these were bought online. A human skull costs over $1,000. It's usually used for schools to teach people anatomy and stuff. So someone spent over $2,000 to deliver him 2 human skulls as a threat. So he did actually post these on the internet. He said that the FBI actually came to investigate what had happened with that. So, it is crazy. I like this post. Special shout out to this guy. The 2 skulls are actually just the leftovers from Frogan's dinner the night before. You know what? I think I forgot something. Yeah, let me cue that up while I play this, because I did forget something. I like to bash Frogan because she sucks so much ass, but there was one particular part of the content cop that I actually want to share. The whole video is a pretty concise breakdown of why Idubbbz is like a treacherous piece of shit, but this was the most interesting part. One of the people that he teamed up with was Bad Empanada, who Hassan calls Good Empanada because he does the good work of A-logging H3 basically. And this is a video that that H3 wanted to share of Bad Empanada. So this is Idubbbz's new friend that he's banking his career on. You ready?
Today was pretty bad, wasn't it? Really sucked for you. You were so disappointed. The betrayal of one of your closest long-term friends, huh? Tick-tock, though, Ethan. Tick-tock, because this was just a taste. This was just a small part of what we have organized for you. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse, Mr. Klein. Every day, sit there just waiting in misery, in fear of what we have in store for you. Tick-tock goes the clock.
Maybe if he stops harassing other creators.
He lets his dogs shit all over.
So that was the editing was a stylistic choice by H3, but it is very like that. The actual message is him just being unironic. Like he really thinks he's hot shit because he's like a-logging some fucking Jew podcast creator. Like good on you, bro. Kind of embarrassing to take yourself that seriously. That was the most interesting part to me. There was another part that I saw from H3 where it was proven that the katana with the samurai swastika on it was intentionally bought by Hassan because it had the swastika and it looked sus. So the swastika on the sword that Idubbbz is holding is not a coincidence because he likes Naruto or some shit. It's like he's actually picked that because he thought it was funny to have a swastika. So, no consequences, of course, for Hassan doing any of the shit because he's the pet of Dan Clancy, and apparently he has ends at Twitch. This was the Frogan clip. Frogan responds to the H3 thing with the grace and civility you would expect.
And to be quite honest,
did I already play this on stream? I'm gonna play it again. I hate her.
It's very hard to look at, karma will make its way. To me, it's very hard to look at it that way. I wish I had that point of view. You know what I mean? Because, you see the shittiest fucking people at the top. I don't know if I believe in karma. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if I had to lose my career over this bullshit, at least I can say I was consistent in my views, and I have been consistently against genocide, and it consistently uplifted the Palestinian people.
She's crying. I've been the #1 Twitch rising star 5 years in a row. Every month I get one new viewer, and I finally was about to make it big. And then this Jew called me an anti-Semite, and my career is over. Ooh.
Others can't say that, but I can.
I'll have you know that for years on this podcast, I have been playing videos that highlight the plight of the Palestinian people to uplift and enrich them, chat. I can't say with a clean conscience I have done more for the Palestinian cause than many other streamers, chat.
Simp for Frogan.
That's her dono sound for when you subscribe is Simp for Frogan, sound by Hassan. So like the cult of personality around Hassan is like the most baffling fucking thing in the entire world to me. Like how could you possibly give a shit about what he has to say ever?
And I feel like such a bitch for crying, but it's just like you sit and reflect, and it's just like, what the fuck, dude? There are some days I just sit and I'm just like, I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? You know what I mean?
There was a video of Bad Empanada playing that. Actually, it's in this video. I can probably pull this up real quick. He's talking about Bad Empanada. Here we go. He blurred the entire game out, but it's just so funny because I know exactly what this is.
Are these Israelis? Are just standing there? I mean, is the Israeli army a bunch of Ethan Kleins? Like, they're all on a fucking Ozempic binge. They don't understand what's going on around them. They haven't noticed me. Where do they keep the secretaries? In here? I'm hunting for secretaries right now.
It's just so funny because I played that game on stream, and the guy that made it posts on the Kiwi Farms. And that's like the center of his controversy. It's like this game you can never play because it defends H3. Gabe Hoffman even sent me the video, this video of Empanada like talking about hunting for secretaries in this game. And I had to tell him, like, I played that game too, right? That game too, right? And he's like, well, I'm sure you played it for different reasons. And his point was like that this guy is like just getting off on like jihading Israeli soldiers and secretaries and shit. And like I told him you should play it. You should watch like a playthrough. If you don't know, there's the playthrough of me playing. It's called the Al Aqsa, the Men of Al Aqsa or something. You can find it if you search for it. But it's like campy as fuck. It's very hard to take it seriously as like a threat against Israel because spoiler alert. Oh my god, hold up. Let me find it. Maybe I can find it really quick. If I search in Al Aqsa, I'm just gonna find the fucking mosque. Oh, here we go. It's called Fursan Al Aqsa. Okay. Is there a part 2 to this? I don't think the funniest part of the entire fucking game. Oh, here we go. This guy with literally 75 views on this video uploaded this entire thing for me. Oh, there's the ship. Okay. I'm gonna spoil it. I'm gonna show you this, and then you don't have to actually watch the game because this is the best part. Okay. And there's a big segment where I'm lost on the fucking ship for like an hour straight. Oh, here we go. Okay, so there's a ship that's like famous in the conflict that they use to like embargo Palestine by the shore. So one of the last missions is you have to go and you have to find the Navy officer, the naval commander, and this is the ending confrontation. Get ready. Tengu, then I teleport. Oh no. He's still alive! Oh no, a shark! You guys thought the sharks would work for Mossad? No, no, no. The sharks, they fight for Allah. Allahu Akbar! The sharks said Allahu Akbar! And he had a Palestinian flag! So that's the super dangerous game that you can never ever play. It is like pure fucking camp. Completely overblown this threat to the Israeli state. If I dare to say so, if I dare to opine that. Anyways, so here's the real thought, okay? Oh, one more little random thing that came up as a consequence of the content cop. So Sean the Black, or Sean the Black, shows up. Shonda, I'll call him that. Shonda shows up on the stream briefly. H3 basically has no idea who this black guy is and has no idea why he keeps trying to talk to him. But as it turns out, Idubbbz might have a very good reason to fear Shonda.
Just goes out and just says the N-word, which is not a surprise. Because he said the N-word on stream with his own face. Can somebody just... Like, it would just be so easy to just... It will save, like, solve all of our problems. Like, we would have socialism now at this point. Right? We would have socialism at this point. If someone just went out of their way and... It would be so easy.
This is a clip of him saying that if you just killed everybody who said the N-word, we'd have a utopian socialist paradise. You know who might have actually said the N-word? This guy right here. So he better apologize. Boy better get down there to Shonda and apologize to Shonda real good. Apologize. Otherwise he's going to die. He's going to get shot. Tragic. Okay, so the fallout of this, Idubbbz has been hit with a couple whammies. So I don't think the content cop has received the response that he was looking for. And then he got two other responses from unaffiliated entities that are probably also not he's looking for. For instance, Jake Paul to face Julio Cesar Chavez in the ring on the June 28th, which is the day that Creator Clash 3 is happening. Is this I think that this is a different fight even. This is not from the WWE. So I don't know this for sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. So Jake Paul, one of the most famous boxers right now, is going into the ring to face Julio Kaiser Chavez on the same day. And at the same exact time, the WWE has announced new events, which includes actual WWE sanctioned fight right around the same exact fucking time in a different state. So if you're a boxing fan, you have events that are coming up that are both for much more famous YouTubers and then also actually sanctioned fights in different areas. I don't care about Spanish pronunciation. Am I wrong? Is the WWE not the one that does boxing? Here, let's see. Boxing announced June 28. Ganesh Sharma. No, that's not it. Jake. Oh, is it just the Jake Paul one that's really big? I thought there was like an actual fight that was coming up that was Yeah, no, it's just the Jake Paul one. So, but I mean that's even worse than like an actual sanctioned fight. Because no, it is sanctioned. Okay. No, I'm wrong. It's on the schedule for ESPN, so that's the one that's playing. Because the creator clash is supposed to be between YouTubers. So if you're interested in seeing YouTuber boxing, you have the choice between random people from H3's behind-the-scenes production crew and other random YouTubers nobody's heard of, or Jake Paul, who's like one of the most famous YouTubers on the entire site. As a result of this, and perhaps... Sorry, I forgot my slide for this. His sales are not doing well, and we can prove that his sales are not doing well because he has decided to make some changes to the ticket sales. So approximately half the seating for the entire boxing ring is going to be in the upper rafters, and those have all been closed off. So no more sales are being conducted there to try and force people to buy new seats in the lower area. And interestingly, he did not like move people. Like those seats have not changed. So he didn't like move them down either. He still expects people to just sit up there completely by themselves in the most sparsely populated area. And then he's going to try to fill in these other seats. And he's going to try to fill in these other seats by reducing the price. So this is the original price for official platinum at $215, and then now it is $117, so half the price that it used to be. So the event's selling so poorly that he has this big arena that he has to somehow make up the difference for, and he's going to have to find a way to make his money back, and he's doing that by undercutting the price. And that's so like nobody who bought tickets already is going to get their money back. So the people that pre-ordered. Usually the pre-orders get like a discount. Like you trust the event and you're so eager for the event that you order in advance. Well, that's cash flow that the event needs. So you usually pay a little bit less if you get there in the front of the line, unless they don't need if they know the sales are a done deal. So now it's like if you paid money up front for the event, they're already undercutting you by 50%, which is quite a bit. And H3 fans are going to charge back. That would just shut it down, I think. That would completely ruin it. So yeah, his decision to snake his only real friend that he's known for fucking years in favor of the most uncharismatic, untrustworthy, fair weather friends ever fucking seen is probably a really, really bad idea. Let's see. Okay. I'm out of order now, so I don't have a narrative in my head. Let's do this. I watched a video last night in preparation for my stream. And it was 2.5 hours. I did watch it at 2x speed, so I didn't spend quite 2.5 hours watching this. But there's a guy on YouTube that does like military history, and notably after the war in Ukraine, he kind of switched full time to being like a Ukraine war commentator. And That's where I know him from. However, he is super, super lefty. I want to see if anyone can even tell what I'm talking about before I say his name. So he's super lefty, and his takes are usually like super pro NATO, super pro aligned with Ukraine, super pro with the. Okay, Judy Fender already figured it out. Yes, it's the pig. It's Laser Pig. That's my other pig laser type character that I'm talking about today. And he did a 2.5 hour long video about cultural Marxism, and I listened to the entire thing. The gist of this is that the people on the right are dumber than the people on the left because they want the gist. They're secretly Nazis. Nazi plot, and this is not a joke. There's a secret Nazi plot in the U.S. to make people into Nazis, and it's being bankrolled by the Kremlin, by Putin, because if everybody in the U.S., all the white people in the U.S. become Nazis, then there will be a civil war, which will be geopolitically advantageous to the state of Russia. I'll pause the recording for a second, let people... Apparently my stream hiccuped or something. Hopefully that will clear up. Okay. Just refresh. Jesus. My thing is fine. Just refreshed. Okay. All I have to do is refresh. Come on. I'm about to get into my segment, so I don't want to be interrupted. So I have from this like 3 minutes of timestamps that I actually feel like are worth sharing. So the 3 timestamps that I want to share from this, let's start at 1:17, I think 52.
Laser pig.
I think that is correct. Yes, okay. So this is timestamp 1.
Here. So I've cut this next part down a little because it was outrageously long and very... Vive la resistance! What followed from this point was another rant in which I covered a number of things. The representation of trans people and Trump supporters in modern society, how your perception of those people is curated, and generally how easy that is to do. Again, circling back to the do violence in video games cause violence in children, because your mum sees a lot of videos on Facebook. I mean, they are everywhere. My God! Because... just taking trans people as an example, there are about 1.6 million trans people in the US. So chances are there are going to be at least 100 of them who are going to be the kind that get up in your face and scream at you. So there's 100 potential videos right there. But you don't need to see 100 videos to have your, shall we say, opinion guided. You only need to maybe see 7. Because, let's be...
Okay, so before he gets to his next point, absolutely not. My opinion on transgenders are not influenced by YouTube videos. My opinion on transgenders are based on my lived experience, and it's really problematic for you to downplay my lived experience, Laserpig.
Completely honest with each other. It only took one video of one person that one time, plus the actions of a very minor celebrity that you'd probably never heard of beforehand, to so bigger than that. There was other things going on, so, you know, but that's not true, is it? You didn't see through all that, did you? It's all going back to the whole James Randi thing, that the people who are easiest to fool are the people who already think they are smart enough to not be fooled. Now you take what 4chan did and amplify it, give it the production budget of a nation state and thousands of employees, and well, 6 or 7 videos is all it takes. Alright, it might not be enough to get you on board with the whole genocide plan, but it will help you internalize it if it does start to happen around you. It's not really anything to do with you, is it? And they kind of brought it on themselves, didn't they? The liberals destroy themselves with their own arguments. They flew too close to the sun, didn't they? That is the exact shit they used to say in Nazi Germany. They said the same in the Soviet Union, and they did it to the gays during the AIDS crisis. And they are currently doing it in Ukraine.
So that I know I had a connection issue, so let me summarize what he says again. He contends that Gamergate was a neo-fascist movement that was orchestrated by 4chan, and there was nothing accurate about it. Anita Sarkeesian definitely wasn't selling shitty-ass videos to schools. Zoe Quinn definitely didn't suck 5 cocks to have her shitty slideshow game promoted whatsoever. No, the media did not circle the wagons to defend these people. That's all false, and if your mind believes other, that is simply your hallucination, stalker child. Now, of course, as somebody who actually was there, that is not an accurate depiction. But his point was that as Gamergate was this big thing that was orchestrated just by 4chan, and it had such a significant cultural impact, imagine what Pootler is able to do using trannies as a scapegoat this time instead of a hoe like Zoe Quinn. So he literally says that the 100% of the trans outrage is not based off women not wanting to get raped, not based off women being raped in female prisons because they put men in the female prisons. It's not based off actual experiences of sexual abuse and assault and perving in women's locker rooms. It is not based off, people trying to deplatform your fucking site for 13 fucking years. That's all a figment of your imagination. It's actually 7 videos pushed out by the Kremlin to
billionaire. Minorities, whether that be culture or upbringing or simple racial coding, are clearly not capable of achieving the same level, or they would have done it by now, and are therefore not deserving of things like a university place, and therefore much emphasis is placed on all the white people who deserve to go to university, but who could not because they were not diverse enough to fill the quota.
So his point is that DEI actually really makes sense and only racists are against it. However, when he's doing his spiel about diversity and forced inclusion and how black people due to systemic racism are unable to get into university, and it's not their fault, there's nothing disadvantaged about them whatsoever, it's just that because of historic racism and current systemic racism, they can't get in. And then he uses the line, white people is angry about this and shit. And to show white people being angry about this, he shows a picture of a group of college students walking to university, a stock photo. And he is unable to find a single stock video to accurately represent angry white people. Every stock video he could have picked from has an extremely perfectly diverse cast of characters to represent the university student, because the sheer idea of a white group of students at a university does not exist in media. You just can't even find out about it. I thought that was funny. And then one more, 213. This is very near the end. See. I have a brain issue where I can never remember numbers for more than a few seconds.
Cremation equipment, waste to energy conversion, Regford structures, as well as for military and facility housing trusted by government. Oh fuck me.
So this is a video of this random bread tuber koala bear looking at pitches that were contract bids that were made for facilities to house immigrants before they're deported, and he sees the rows of buildings and he's like, oh crikey mate, this be just like the fucking Holocaust, isn't it?
Oh fuck me.
Trump has, and I'll remind you, at the time of recording, we haven't even hit the first 100 days yet, has weakened the United States military position considerably, tanked the economy, practically ended its dominance in global trade, and left it vulnerable not only in its position to police its interests across the world, but united almost the entire world against it, as opposed to its enemies. Europe is rearming not to fight Russia, but to defend itself against America. Asia, which was once moving towards uniting with America against Chinese aggression and expansion, is now united with China against America. The only person in the world who has benefited considerably from Trump's administration is Putin. So the question has to be asked: if Trump was a Russian agent, what more could he have possibly done? Look, maybe
How about lifting sanctions on Russia, bro?
I was wrong. Maybe color revolution theory does in fact exist. Maybe it does actually work. But maybe it wasn't the left who was the target. Maybe all this time, it was the right. maybe y'all just got cultural Marxist by Putin. Or maybe the right just won the culture war, and maybe I really am coping and seething. Ooh, who knows? So go ahead. Post your little Pepe. You won. Well done. You deserve it. Good for you. Because as James Randi once said, and I've said it several times in this video already, some of the easiest people to fool are the people who think they are smart enough to notice if they were being fooled. And
so that's his main thesis of his video. That it was indeed, there was a conspiracy to infiltrate the academics of the United States and implant in fertile young minds conspiracy theories designed to weaken the fabric of society. But it is in fact you, Stalker Child, who has fallen for Kremlin antics. And indeed, it did come from Russia, but not the Soviet Union. Not from the Frankfurt School, but from the Kremlin itself, Stalker. I feel that the reason why he believes this, and I've noticed this, I've called this out with Destiny, and I think it applies equally to Laserpig. Destiny and Laserpig are 100% in line with the status quo, because only the status quo could have enabled them to exist. If you don't know, Laserpig is a big fat gay man from Europe, and what he basically does as a hobby is he backpacks through Europe trying to find as many pause loads as possible. He's just a human cum dump, and on the occasion he starts up a video about Ukraine and talks about how Russian tanks suck or whatever the fuck, and that's his YouTube channel. And similarly to Destiny, who is a carpet cleaner by trade that just so happens to have found a career path that enables him to take meth and fuck various BPD whores continuously. There is only one existence in which, one reality in which they would be allowed to live these lifestyles unimpeded, and it is the one that we currently live in. And I believe that they're aware of this, either subconsciously or consciously. And they know that if there's any dramatic change to the way that society works, that they're going to be very disadvantaged by it. Nobody wants these people around. Like if you're rebuilding society to be a better society, and you have absolute authority, it doesn't matter if you're a communist or if you're a fascist or whatever the fuck is that you are. Nobody has a spot for Laserpig and Destiny in their upper echelon, making the money and having the clout that they currently have. So they know that if change comes, it will not benefit them. It's impossible for it to benefit them. So, and when you think about it like that, all their positions make sense. Why do they defend the status quo? Because the status quo benefits them. Why do they support Ukraine? Why do they support NATO dominance? Because only the United States and only the West in its current incarnation can give them the status quo and would give them the status quo. So therefore, it needs to remain on top militarily forever and ever. And that means crushing Russia and any other country that tries to thwart the Pax Americana. How can you backpack through Europe and collect exotic strains of AIDS if Europe is a war zone, right? So there needs to be Pax Americana, and it needs to be enforced by these liberal democratic countries that that allow them to exist. And he can't renege on any of these other policies of the status quo, because once you start getting choosy, then you can get really choosy. Like if you were to relent on immigrants, then you really have to think, well, what else is the status quo wrong about? Why don't we take a double look at gay marriage? Then you're in some issues. And it's the same thing with trannies. It's like, if we start saying that men can't dress up as women and peeve on women in women's restrooms, then who's to say that we can't allow that maybe bug chasers, gay bears going around Europe collecting pause loads, maybe that's also bad. So any kind of backtracking is undesirable to these people. And their entire worldview is centered around what has enabled them to make a lot of money and live a lifestyle that they choose without really having to do anything that contributes to society. And they're frustrated because they're losing, not just in terms of the right, but also the left. People on the left, or especially people who are not real Americans, they will look back at history, say everything about Americanism was wrong and want radical reforms in terms of like socialism. And then people on the right look far back and say, well, maybe everything after the 70s was bad with, that's like the baby take. Like everything after the 70s was bad because that's when cultural Marxism started. And then some people go back further and say, you know what, we can go all the way back to the New Deal and our involvement in World War II. And that kind of stuff is what's scary to somebody like Laserpig, because he knows that He is adapted. He's like one of those animals that exist on a single hill in Madagascar, surrounded by a river bend, and no other ecosystem in the entire world can support them. Besides that little speck, that little 1 kilometer area that permits this rare, exotic, super adapted species to exist. That's laser pig. Any changes in the ecology will kill him. That's all I have to say about him. His video made the rounds, and I watched it because I'm familiar with him. I hope you have enjoyed. I know that people don't like it when we talk about politics, but it's just my thoughts, chat. Thank you guys for sticking through the issues with the internet. By the way, I appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about Ricada just a little bit. Unfortunately, PvP and Andy Worski, they can make an 8-hour stream out of fucking anything, I swear to God, because they just watch like the stream and they have to pause it every 30 seconds to like correct the record on the fly. I don't have that in me. I like to like watch something that's 3 hours long, take a time step out of it, and then just be like, look, this is the best part of the whole fucking video, and it sums it all up. So I'm doing that again. Ricada put out a video as his first stream back, and this first stream has set the stage for absolute catastrophic failure. Okay, this is the one part that I want to clip. It's a 4.5 hour long stream, but I feel like this actually summarizes everything perfectly. You ready?
What's funny, what is legitimately comical about some of the criticism, there's a bunch to legitimately criticize me for. Again, I made a bunch of bad decisions. I made some really fun decisions, but I made a bunch of bad decisions and deserve some criticism on all of it.
This is where I gave up. I stopped watching the stream after he said this because I was sick of him. But this is what really caps off his new mood. And I can best summarize this as he has not learned a single fucking thing, and he takes no accountability for his actions. If he tries to indicate otherwise, he is being facetious or duplicitous, because he does not. Every single time he even comes close to admitting fault, he has to put an asterisk next to it and try to own the A-logs. Like, sure, I went off and did some goofy stuff, and I had a ton of fun doing it, but now there's consequences to that. Note what he's not saying. He's not saying, I fucked up. I made bad decisions that I regret, and I do not want to do them again. I don't want to make those same mistakes again. He's saying, I made some bad decisions under contemporaneous wisdom and logic, under how most people would think, but you know what? I sure did have a blast, and I learned a whole lot while doing it. And like, that's not an apology. That's not a lesson learned. And he's still smug. He's still shitting on the justice system. He's literally... And he messaged me, by the way, for something I'll explain in a second. And I told him to this in the message, because when he messages me, what I do is I just ignore all the bullshit, and I just respond to the one thing that I actually want to address. And I drew this comparison. I remember watching a video about drug addiction, and specifically the fentanyl epidemic. And I learned that there are people that keep methadone on them at all times, so that if they see somebody dying of fentanyl, they can hit them with the methadone, which stops the processing, the metabolizing of opioids, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what happened. And then it will wake them up. It will stop an overdose. So this is like a thing that exists. And I remember talking to somebody who worked in medicine about this. I'm like, what do you think about people that carry methadone? Narcan. Sorry, not methadone. Narcan. Narcan is what wakes up the sleepy fentanyl zombies. And he said that he would never carry Narcan on him, and he would never use it to save somebody's life. And I thought, that's weird. Like, I understand not wanting to, not having a lot of sympathies for drug addicts. I can understand not carrying it, but like, not if you had it, why wouldn't you use it? And he said, when you wakes up a fentanyl zombie with Narcan, he gets angry with you immediately. He's close to dying because the opioids are murdering him. But it's the best high he's ever had in his entire life. He's in a world of bliss, sandwiched between two velvet blankets on the most comfortable down furnishings you could ever imagine, floating in the sky at a perfect 72 degrees with the sun kissing his skin. He's in the best mindset he could ever possibly have, even though he's on the verge of death. And if you hit him with the Narcan, he wakes up from that, and he's a homeless man in pain on the street, and he gets violent and angry with you. And while watching Ricada talk about his experience with the justice system, I was reminded a lot of this conversation, and I'm thinking, like, the way he talks about how much fun he had and how he made some silly decisions, but oh my God, it was so fun. I'm like, you're a drug addict whose buzz got killed. You're not concerned about the custody of your children. You're not concerned about what damage you did to your family or your life. You're upset that someone shook you up and got you awake and on your feet again because you killed your buzz. And it's like, I'm like, you're fucked. This guy right here, he's the same exact guy that was jerking off to Anime Sucks, Cope and Sneed's Fat Dragons like a year ago. He's the same exact fucking person. Has not changed, has not learned anything. He might be a little bit more careful moving forward, but there is 0% chance. There's not a fucking chance in hell that this guy is going to make it through 5 years of probation without fucking up again. Because in his mind, he's done nothing wrong except get caught. And it's actually the system's fault that they treat people like this, because he was just having a good time in his own house. And, you know, that's why I didn't bother picking out like a bunch of timestamps. I don't want to go line by line and listen to him fucking smugly preen about how he got away with it in his mind. It's like, because I don't have to. I don't have to epically own him line by line, because watch, set your fucking clocks. You got 5 years on this shit. You can make your own determinations, but I give him maybe 2 or 3 years, because there's no way he's gonna, with this mindset, there's no fucking way that he's gonna make it through 5 years. So I told him, I said, I'll be vindicated again. You haven't learned shit. And what he got upset about, by the way, was this. The Minnesota Public Records person dropped information that we didn't have, which was that someone had found that April was living in Wilmer, which is near where he lives. And it had been said publicly that April was gone, the cover was over, that she had moved away and they were no longer together. She's like 15 minutes away from where he lives. So there's no fucking way that they're not seeing each other. And because she moved out, Kayla may not know. So when he messages me asking me to delete this post and ban Minnesota Public Records for stalking as like a site violation, I think it's because he's afraid that Kayla's going to find out that he's still with her. And I said to him, he messaged me, by the way, Easter fucking Sunday. On Easter fucking Sunday, he's in Signal telling me that I have to delete this post because it's a site violation or whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, are you not with your family at church? Are you not doing anything special today? He messaged me at like 1, like noon to 1, like exactly when somebody who with a family would be at church with their family on Easter Sunday. And I was dumbfounded by it. And I said something else. Not just that he reminded. I told him the Narcan story. I called it methadone, so I was wrong. But Narcan. I told him, stop cheating on your wife, because I know that's why he was upset about that. He got caught again. And he said, I've never cheated on my wife. She always consented. And it's like in his head, even the fucking polycule shit was still like justifiable. His infidelity, you know, in the Bible, he says that I don't think he's religious anymore, but in the Bible it says that when two people get married, their souls join. You literally you fuse souls together. And you can't like consent to being cheated on in that context. I guess you can say in the liberal progressive concept of consent, then sure, that's fine. But for him, he shouldn't be okay with that. But he still maintains that it was all perfectly above board and shit. And honestly, it's down to me. It's like, because at that point he hadn't streamed. I'm just like, there's no way that he's still like this, that he's still this smug asshole. You know what he did? This was the weirdest part. I was driving at the time, so I didn't respond promptly to his messages. But he sent me a message after I told him do I even have this? Might have been too long ago. Oh, I only sent him one message. So it was all one message. And then he sent me 2 messages in reply. I'm not going to read them verbatim, but I then replied to that saying, "Your contempt for my good advice has already been well established, but within the next 5 years, I will be vindicated a second time. You have no credibility, and I believe nothing you say." Because he was trying to persuade me of all this other shit, like how, XYZ. And I'm like, I don't believe anything that you say, bro. You have no credibility. You lied to my fucking face for years. I simply have zero trust that anything that you say ever is true. And he didn't reply to this, or he did, but you know what he said? He said, "You are a good person." And then he deleted this message. So I remember seeing it because it was a notification that popped up on my car's dashboard. And then if I look at it now, it says this message was deleted. So I don't know what kind of fucking manipulation tactic that is, to say you're a good person and then delete it. Like, really bizarre behavior. Could only come from a brain completely scrambled like fucking eggs by drugs and alcohol. Really excited to see the next fuck up from this retard. We'll see. So that's that. That's the Ricada segment. Next, let me get a drink. Yeah, I think because I was kind of moralizing to him a bit, and I think he was like, "Oh, you're such a good person," like eye-rolling sarcasm, but it's so silly. And then he deletes it, like he doesn't even want that to be misinterpreted. Like, I don't actually want him to think that he's a good person. Or maybe he doesn't want me to think that he's salty or some shit. It's just like, I don't know what he wants. Yeah, the social dude right over my fucking head. I'm just like a complete dummy when it comes to reading people, and it's just a total retard. Okay, next. This is the Gator Game More. So there's the brain trust of the Gator Gamer and Randbot decided to talk about the Shondo thing. I've actually not watched this entire clip, but I'll play it until I get bored of it, and then I'll explain the happenings as of this. This is Randbot vision, so this is like full on fucking retard view.
Let's see if I can fucking scootaloo this on without like giving away too much personal information. Because Gator sent it to me in a fucking DM. Oh no, that's great. You do your fucking thing there, you stupid fucking browser.
Anime extremist for once is up.
So for those who don't know, you may have heard of this little character called Shondo. That's a spooky goth VTuber.
Mm-hmm.
We played the clip to go like, "Yeah, I'm a man. I'm a 6 foot 8 foot tall man. I'm sorry, I got words for you. If you hear a feminine voice and you say it's a man, you're gay." She's that one. Anyway, so her mother committed suicide recently.
Unfortunately.
Rip. Ripperoni, and obviously that affected her, and she took some time off work. Well, she returned. She returned to streaming yesterday after, I don't know, like a month, 2 month hiatus. I couldn't tell you. And the fags at Kiwi Farms went and did a dox on her. And they were very proud of themselves. And like, I don't know.
Let's correct the record. People... It was a phone booking. Someone just went to the phone book and looked it up. It's completely fine.
Clapped. No, I'm serious. Like they went and did like a big announcement on the Twitters, going like, "Hey guys, we committed another crime. Check out."
What in the name of Christ is the point of that?
I don't think that we did announce it on Twitter, because I wouldn't have linked to that. I wouldn't have promoted this person. I could be wrong. I don't remember doing that though.
There is literally no point. There's nothing to be gained from it. So, okay. Now I know what Shondo's real name is. Great. But yeah, so they did this like full on fucking doxing thing. They were very proud of themselves. They went and posted on the Twitter, go, "Hey guys, we've got the dox on Shondo." 9 people clicked like. 9.
Well,
many...
So like Sprite Header or somebody, because I think Sprite posted this. Yeah, Sprite Header has his own Twitter account, so which is obviously a much smaller following than the forum account or my account. And I guess he shared it on his Twitter because of whatever reason, and then he's like, epically owned. Only 9 people cared.
So many people care about like Kiwi Farms fucking fake and gay shit. So of course, because Josh Moon is incapable of learning, not recalling how well it went for him the last time he went after VTubers, he's mad at the internet. I think he was actually live the same time Shondo was. So Shondo's getting like thousands of viewers.
Bro, I'm not comparing myself to a fucking lollipop. Dude, what a fucking... If you don't know, Randbot's actually brain damaged. He used to serve in the Australian military, and he was dismissed because a ammo crate fell on his head, physically fractured his skull, and scrambled his fucking brains. So if he sounds like a retard, it's because he's actually a retard.
Getting showered with attention. All the other VTuber girls there are like doing raids and like...
That's like the most basic bitch cope ever. Like, whenever a lolcow gets confronted, they will compare popularity. And it's like, nobody's looking at that OnlyFans girl that sucked 1,000 dicks and are like, oh my god, she's making so much money. She's better than you because she makes more money and gets more penises in her. Like, nobody thinks that way except people like Randbot.
Meanwhile, little broken dick Josh is here in his fucking goon cave.
Oh no!
To his little audience of chuddy buddies.
Chuddy buddies. Chuddy buddies. Oh my, that's so cute. Can I get a shout out to all the chuddy buddies in the chat?
Jerking himself off about how like, I got the dox Shondo and she's like a lolicon or whatever. And so it's so fucking ghoulish.
Ghoulish chat.
Like, the juxtaposition of Josh Moon being a fucking ghoul. Like trying to blow up, like trying and
what you looking at, smooth skin?
blow up the spot of someone who's returning back to their job after losing their mother, and he's been a fucking ghoul about it. And the funny thing is, as usual, his audience turned on him a little bit. Here, Gator sent this to me.
Oh my god!
Part of Josh's whole
Gator, hello, Gator. Wake up, Gator. This isn't a dream. It's a nightmare, Gator.
Like Shondo's a lolly, and Gator likes Shondo. Like he seems to have now developed the same obsession with Gator as he's had over me.
How many times have I ever shown Rambot on stream? Does anyone? I think it might be fewer than 10 times since 2019. Rand, feel free to count. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it on stream. Okay.
Slimy fat fuck. Like many such cases, right?
Thank you. Anime extremist for one says, I was talking about Pantsu, not Shondo. Shondo says edgy stuff as part of her personality. What she said in the clip was not a good look, and I don't like it. Bro, she wears a pacifier. Her character talks like a fucking toddler and wears a pacifier.
By the way, the odds of Mushmouth, the irony of Mushmouth Josh.
the irony of Mushmouth Josh. Come on, bro. I love it. I've done that too, where I've like tried to criticize somebody for flubbing a line, and I like completely, totally butcher the English language in the process. I think there's like a thing in your brain where if you actually are going to try to stunt on somebody for speaking like a retard, it's just like, nah, buddy, not today. You're about to have an embarrassment.
Saying that other people talk like a child. Josh, you talk like a child. You sound like a special needs child, Josh.
Your fucking head checked. Shondo's mom died recently too, and she's talked about mental health problems in her family. Although I don't really watch her, I genuinely feel bad for her. I mean, this is the point of contention. I'd feel bad for her if she wasn't a lolicon with a pacifier in her mouth, talking like a retard. Like,
once again, Josh, don't ever accuse someone else of talking like a retard. To sound like a retard.
Stupid is as stupid does.
Yeah, really. Stupid is like stupid does, isn't it, Josh? Yeah.
He's just agreeing with me.
Josh Moon.
Just like violently agreeing with me. Like, yeah, this guy's right. Thank you, Cat.
Fucking ghoul. Usual.
Yeah,
complete failure. Complete L.
What? Okay.
Yes, Josh. No, the Big Mac. Josh didn't just dream about killing his mother. He posted extensively about it. He wrote a fucking War and Peace size like fucking post about his fantasies about killing his mother, which went so in depth as to he wanted to kill her 2 cats first.
What? Absolutely not. This guy just makes shit up off the top of his fucking head.
And have her see
Scott did die, by the way. He died in a house fire that her boyfriend set, and I cried like a fucking bitch over my cat.
the dead cats before he killed her because he felt like she gave the cats more attention than him.
He's just literally just making shit up. He's writing fan fiction.
Yeah. So as I said, like, you know, stay charming, Josh Moon. You are a fucking ghoul. You are a subhuman piece of shit, and your gay ops failed yet again.
What? She did get looked up in the phone book, bro. What gay ops? Gator, by the way, sent this to him because that clip you heard was apparently. By the way, he's trying to. He's saying that my plan to collect payments through automatic bill payment is check fraud. Someone going out of their way to set up a payment system that sends checks to me with their own money to a legal entity that pays taxes is check fraud. So that's how desperate Gator is to see us go down. He's hoping that I'm going to cash a check and FinCEN from the fucking FTC is going to break down my fucking door with guns drawn and just blast me for it, for check fraud. Fucking imbecile. This dude's never made money that wasn't through, like, how do you think you get paid at Subway, Gator? How do you think Subway writes you a check? They have fucking bill pay. They send you a check in the mail. Or they do ACH, or they do a wire. Like, how do you think you get paid? Then Rambot responds, that's not going to work. I wanted to know if we had a countdown to no more Kiwi. He says, once this backfires, I imagine it will happen pretty quickly. And then he links this. And he goes on Twitter, and he says, no, it was Sprite Header that posted it. Apparently, Sprite Header, the guy Kiwi Farms Josh got to make the anti-VTuber thread, got fully exposed after picking a fight with DSP detractors, and it turned out he worked for a literal Antifa and ESG analyst group in the UK. Gura wins yet again by doing absolutely nothing. This is a fail dox by like a known schizophrenic retard whore, and Gator just believed it off the top of his fucking head because he's retarded. This was him sucking some VTuber cock some more. And then... That's not it. I was responding to Harry Morris about fucking VTuber shit, which is just insane. Where is the good part? Talking about Alyssa Mercant. Okay, this is it. This is from the Anime Boomers. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong with this Scorpion from MK guy, but I am going to have to reluctantly give him an Achievo because he apparently listened to an entire episode of Anime Boomers. I don't think anyone's ever done that. I don't think even Gator has listened to an entire episode of his own podcast. But this is apparently about me. Let's see.
Well, I guess really to kind of summarize it, so what Alyssa Mercanti was trying to do is she was trying to essentially dox a bunch of YouTubers that she didn't like by tangentially including them in her like latest filing and trying to say, oh yeah, well they've talked about the case, so therefore they're interesting to the case and they're people that she plans on like pursuing or whatever. But it's obvious, and especially from like the things that she and her associates have said, it's obvious that the only reason why she included that in the document was so she could broadcast their personal information in a legal setting in a document that's publicly available, unlike a website like a Kiwi Farms or something, where people are more averse to go to that website because it's full of shitheads.
Sorry, Gator.
Literally it's a public document, so that information
is
just always going to be
just like the information you can search on fucking Google to find out about people.
Kiwi Farms may not be there in like a year or two, but a legal document will always be part of the public record.
The check fraud, once the check fraud hits, he's already writing FinCEN. He's already saying, these motherfuckers are about to send checks in the mail. Contact the Postal Enforcement Service. They need to know about this. They need to stop this shit before it happens. So he decides to call me out because I made a post making fun of Gator. I said, Gator, the Lolicon VTuber enthusiast, and Rand, brain damage, Lolicon VTuber enthusiast, conspired to bring down the Kiwi Farms. This is about the check fraud thing. See, I've been working on a plan to let people use automatic check delivery to pay for account upgrades. This is check fraud because they don't like me. Gator responds and says, conspire? No, I'm laughing about how retarded your entire scheme to sign onto a credit union to use checks and bill pay because you think that's not going to trigger immediate red flags. Why would it? How is sending $20 to a P.O. box once a month going to trigger a red flag? I don't even have to enter in the PIN code on my debit card for purchases of $20. And calling you out for mocking a VTuber's mother dying because you're an irredeemable piece of shit that deserves all the bad stuff that you have, that happens to you, just like another person we know, which is supposed to be Ralph. You mirror images of each other. You just have a bigger fan base that gives you money unironically instead of ironically because you hold the Library of Alexandria of internet shit hostage behind your BPD meltdowns at the DSP board. I reply, and whenever, like, this drives the DSP people crazy. Like, they'll write me, like, the massive essay. I respond to shit like a judge. I go through until I see the first thing worth responding to. I respond to that. I stop fucking reading. Unless your post is really, really interesting, I do not read it. Especially if we're like in an argument, I will go to the first point of contention and then we'll go from there. But I'm not going to sit there and litigate line by line every single thing in your post. So when he says this, I just do the immediate response, and I just say, I didn't post anything about Shondo's mother, you deranged simp. And the video was the one I just played where I said, I would feel bad for her if she wasn't a lolicon VTuber with a pacifier in her mouth that talked like a retard. And he thought that I was saying that about Shondo's mother. If you remember correctly, last stream, I didn't even mention her mother had committed suicide. I didn't bring it up. I didn't talk about it. I would find the subject distasteful on a comedy podcast. So I did what is probably the single most respectable thing I could possibly do in regards to this. I didn't talk about it at all. I completely ignored that, and I didn't bring it up. Meanwhile, on their podcast, which is supposed to be pro Shondo, they're like actively they're using the silly words for it too. I can't remember what Rand said, but he like referred to it very flippantly. Like, yeah, she committed seppuku or something. And it's like, she was like, apparently she had like a chronic illness that was like debilitating and painful. So she killed herself because she couldn't stand to live with the fucking pain. And then you got like people like Rand just like casually talking about it on their podcast. But meanwhile, I think if you're trying to be nice, you just don't bring it up. So he said I was talking about her mother, and I didn't. So I said that, and then he deleted all his posts. and then he went through and he reported all my posts. Basically, is what is the timeline of this event. So I guess Gata wins. I'm sorry, Gata. Please stop reporting on my posts. I didn't mean to upset you, Oshi, Gata. I didn't mean to. I'm sure your Oshi's really nice, Gata. I'm sure your Oshi ain't fucking weird at all, Gata. I'm so sorry, Gata.
Whoa, sex, cunny, sex, whoa, plop, sex, cunny.
I'm sorry, Gata. My crusade is not righteous in the latest. I've learned my lesson, Gata. Remember, this is the goth lolly VTuber. She makes jokes about goth and stuff. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else? You know, I have a little bit of a Reddit segment. There was something I wanted to talk about, but I didn't have the time to prepare for it because it's such a long stream that I have to break up into fucking clips. Let me double check my notes real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. Idubbbz, Oblivion, Billy Mitchell, Discord, DSP, UK, Gator, Reddit. I have that lined up. Kanye West, Keemstar, Kata, Alyssa Mercant, News, and Anna. Okay, I hit all my points. Nicely timed, as always, chat. So let's do the Reddit segment. Am I the asshole for training a guy like a dog? Yaha. I, a 23-year-old female, have been started seeing this guy, 26M. He's super pretty. That's a weird word for a guy. But he's kind of emotionally unavailable, and he's alluded to instability or unhealthy childhood. For context, I work with socializing abused and neglected dogs at a local shelter, and I think of how much time I spend with dogs is impacting the way I interact with people. When we were on a date, I started subconsciously making mental notes about him, like the notes I'd make about a dog. For example, I noticed that when we went out to dinner, I noticed he ate very quickly and was anti-sharing or resource guarding, but I offered to pay and suggested dessert. It seemed like it made him really happy and a little calmer, food motivated. He's particular about his car, territorial, crate aggression. He likes it when I pick where we go and what we do, eager to please, etc. So I've started using the tactics I use on a dog with similar problems. Recently, a friend, 22F, pointed out that it's weird that I keep peanut M&Ms on me with specific purpose of offering the guy one when I see him and offering them again when I can tell he feels vulnerable. Said that I'm being an asshole because he's a person, not a dog, so I shouldn't be training him like one. I don't think that's fair. I'm not trying to control him. I just want him to feel comfortable with me the same way I need the animals I'm helping to feel comfortable with me. Human animals aren't that different after all. We just want to feel safe and cared for. This guy hasn't yet noticed that, as far as I can tell. This is my problem. My technique is yielding really positive results. Am I the asshole? Should I stop? The M&M's one is the weirdest one. And what's funny about it is that she doesn't explain, but when you train a dog that is like really shy, what you do is every time you see him or interact with him, you give him a treat so he associates you with a good thing, and that like rewires his brain to like you. That's how you train dogs. So she does that with peanut M&Ms. Now, they did say that basically she was fine except for the M&M thing, and then this was the update that I want to read. So to all the people who told me I should tell him what I'm doing, you were right, and that's what I did. Turns out I was very wrong about him not noticing what I was doing. He apparently put 2 and 2 together pretty quickly after I started doing it. He didn't tell me because he was onto me, though, because he liked it and was worried I'd get embarrassed and stop if I knew that he knew. So we talked it out and ended up not being a very big deal at all, and I'm probably going to keep having M&Ms because they're good. So this guy, this Redditor, first of all, Redditors are like dogs. Yeah. And also, get yourself a dog trainer, GF, for free M&Ms. Okay. That's your Reddit segment. I think that's everything, chat. I think I've covered my bases. Thank you for watching. Matty.live, matty.live/dono, mattyinternet.locals.com. I will be doing, I've been doing, for the last 2 weekends, I've done a video every weekend, so I will try to keep doing that, at least once a month. I appreciate everybody who subscribed. It really means a lot because it helps me balance my budget and figure out where I'm going to be each month, and it helps a lot. And I know it's a big pain in the ass. If you want to register, you have to register first for Locals or for Rumble, and then use your Rumble account to open Locals. So it's like a really high friction registration process. And I know that some people have like given up on it. So I appreciate the people that have stuck through and actually set it up. Now let's do the super berries. Why not go to OnlyFans? People have made that as like a joke suggestion many times. I'm not going to do OnlyFans because I don't want to drive people to that platform. Because I know like a lot of people who watch are like actively trying to avoid porn. So I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my own fans by doing that. Let's start with this. The need for $100 by U.S. postal order. What he sent me was a letter of a Hakenkreuz made out of stamps saying faxed and confidential. So I don't have a way to convey that to the super chat system, but that is what it said. Okay. Racist soft-shell crab for one says, approach her now, you absolute legends, with wings from Ricky's world-famous hot sauce from Donkey Kong champion Billy Mitchell. They are bold, tangy, and packed with Louisiana heat. Grab yours now at rickyhotsauce.com and use the promo code JOBST for 10% off. Thank you, racist soft-shell crab. Kurt Eichenwald, Anime Masturbator for 5 says, Glorious Kiwi Emperor, the Pontiff died one day after 420. What was that a present for the big man? You know who I'm talking about. Perhaps. I don't know. I can't say anything about the Pope because that might get me banned from everything, apparently. Lieutenant Razchak for 10 says, can you read this in your Patrick Tomlinson voice, then rate how embarrassing it is? Okay. I actually cannot. Let me see if I can open this without the archive. Okay, let's see. This is very, very long. Oh my god, bro. This is Smartly Dressed Games. My name is Maddie Sexton. I am Nelson's wife. I am not involved in the Unturned community until... Oh, so they made Unturned. Unturned is like a really, really popular zombie Minecraft, basically. Until a month ago when Nelson asked me to mediate a worsening issue. Nelson says, over the past year, a rift in the modding community has gradually widened. I received several concerning reports about the origin of the rift and the history that led to it. I undertook my own investigation and information gathering, but felt I was too close to the situation to be confident in my conclusion. Maddie hadn't previously been involved in the Unturned community. You should have told me what paragraph to read about this, though. What is the issue? Our chief values are empathy and kindness. Several curated developers have shown they do not align with these values. It refers to false information, obscene language, and actions that create a toxic environment. They cut ties with these people. And they're removing certain maps. Arid, A64, Polaris, Elver, and Escalation. Oh, they're not being removed. They're just taking them and unlisted. Okay. What did they say? It's hard for me to know what the fuck is, if it's embarrassing or not. I mean, because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess Maddie's like a tranny or something. And the tranny got offended at transphobia, so he's just like completely purging. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Maddie Sexton, who is an anchorman at Kate, so Unturned. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know why you sent me this. Like, it's embarrassing, but it's like a kid's game ran by retards, I guess, so that's not too unexpected. Bean the Bunny for 5 says, something I have noticed in the field of localology, I don't know if this has been brought up before, but some locales have their own special cursed items, or horcrux, as I call it. That's true. I think that people have an affinity for certain objects in general. And when you watch somebody, you kind of like start to recognize that about them, and that becomes like part of their lore. I don't know what mine would be. Silver, of course. Mine would be silver coins. Bean the Bunny for 2 says, Chris Chan has his medallion, Ricada has the Baldo, and Greer has prostitutes. This seems to happen when they become Apex lolcows. Not necessarily. I mean, prostitutes don't really count as a horcrux. Can't really go, like, if you want to destroy a horcrux, you want to like murder every prostitute? Doesn't make any sense. Bugger Asking for 5 says, time for some content. Also, are you type 1 or type 2? I hope I'm type 1. I think that's male at least. I don't know. Sneedo for 1 says, didn't a rogue 4chan rapugee post gay porn onto your profile? I don't know, did he? Sneeda Stanny for 5 says, I paid for the super chat using a check. It would have been fraud if you tried to cash it, according to a fat pedo-loving gun guarder. So I've been told from a very reliable source. MouseCop5 for 10 says, how about a $40 tier and a $20 tier with different perks for each? That's hard to do, because the way that I'm going to do it is you'll get time pro rata based on how much you send. So if it's like, you know, if it's $40 and you send $100, that's 2.5 months. So what do I do about 2 tiers, you know? Fatty Caddy for 5 says, I can't sign up for a check thing because fat pedophile offender Gator was seething about how his pedophile friends and himself, possible PDF, are made fun of on your forum. So you better be careful, man. Writing a check that's fraud inherently, because you're deceiving a Stripe or MasterCard, I guess. Logistical Nightmare for $50 says, people bitching about the $40 price when you can make it a solid K and U really don't understand the power of the meme. You're charging less than Aaron paid to see our wife's nudes, and they're mad. It's true. He super chatted one Kayla, and I could be charging up to 1 Kayla for the ability to feature posts per month. That's a good amount of Kaylas a month, chat. Thank you. Stupid Fuck for 5 says, my name is Ethan. I was at the laundromat folding clothes this week, listening to the show on headphones when that Ethan wake up thing from Idubbbz was playing. It was very, very unsettling. It is strange. That's why you have to call out like a random name every stream so that people think that you have like psychic abilities. Like Craig, that fucker Craig. Don't ever fucking talk to Craig. He's a piece of shit, man. Humble Guardsman for 1 says, bearer, seek lest. I don't know what that means. Bugger Housing for 5 says, what about Europores? Wanted to fight for freedom with my American friend. Felt it. At least I can get some quality cheese tomorrow as compensation. You can. I think banks offer a way to send checks in US dollars, but it depends on your bank, and they might charge for it, unlike regular bill pay, which should be free. Or $1. Haramburger for 2 says, thanks for the early access Gilded and True and Honest Border. I've been getting my many compliments for how good it looks this past week. My fellow poosters are a very smart and alert community. Well, congratulations on being so early. Space Allen for $50 says, ham jam. Thank you, Space Allen. I appreciate it. One day I will fix those. I keep saying that, but one day I will. Porglack for 2 says, silver gilding is called vermeil or silver gilt. I'm a feature my pillow affiliate link. Use my Kiwi money to buy more affiliate links. Once the initial shock has worn off, I'm going to have to figure out some rules for it, but yeah. Tetrabacks for $50 says, the only value Elon has is that people I don't like hate him, and watching them spurg about it is funny. That's true. He does have that quality to him, and it's a very good point. Thank you. Cino for 2 says, rare screenshot when Maddie was on YouTube pre-Pajit CEO. Oh, yeah. Way back when. And that fucking Pajit has the balls to say that he's like a free speech aficionado. Fuck that retard. Chuck's Need for 1 says, you should do a collab stream with Ruben someday. I probably should. I should interview him at some point. That would be a good idea. David S877 for $25 says, since you returned to the U.S., what's your favorite rural American sport? Rodeo, tractor pulls, demolition derby, frog jumping, high school football, or others? I mean, I haven't seen any of that stuff. I haven't gone out of my way to see that. I do see a lot of ATVs on the road in the middle of nowhere, though. I like to drive those around. Thank you. Bunker Housing for 3 says, it can't be true since we did not have that hamster bring the news up. It's I completely forgot the news hamster this stream. What a fucking tragedy. Sorry. Umpty Madu for 1 says, Smarter Everyday interviewed a 4-star general 6 years ago that explicitly said that China, Russia, and the U.S. all perform psyops on each other using social media. It's called the future of war. Yeah, I mean, for sure, I believe it. I believe that Russia probably does, intentionally try to promote a schism in the United States between the left and the right, because why wouldn't they? Sneedo for 1 says, 764 doesn't exist. That random 1-follower burner account on Zitter that keeps posting your Blocklands chat told me so. It's true. 4chan sucks. Copen's Need for 5 says, Liz Fong Jones Honeycomb 776 solutions. Base and true. Accurate. Thank you. Banana Plugs for 5 says, happy pizza day, Josh. You're my favorite non-Slav always. I picked up my own 3DS on Easter. Tons of fun with Animal Crossing. Brings me back to simpler times, but it's also company without online BS. That's true. A lot of kids, I guess, with Nintendo is the only company that makes real games anymore. Like Breath of the Wild is still like a single player exploration, rich game. And that's what I think kids really like, is games that are wide open, that you can explore and do stuff in, and try to figure out what the game can and can't let you do and stuff. Dark Western for 5 says, nothing. Great super chat. Indeed. Thank you. Awaken 34 for 5 says, I'd like to let you know that there exists a website that will allow you to relive your childhood. It's called myabandonware.com, an excellent site, and in my opinion, not piracy. It is technically piracy, but if the rights holder doesn't enforce it, then whatever. If they do DMCA it, then it goes down. Cheese94 for 2 says, trannies are safe in Germany. There's a beautiful trans woman named Georgine Kellerman on the international clique. It would be advised to show chat the beauty of this maiden. Maybe one day. I don't trust you. I don't know what's in that thread. It's dangerous. Pancake Luchador for 5 says, I was just thinking that there's a possible chance that you could be a Chinese spy, Noel. Suddenly poking at China seems a little sus. Watch your score, Josh. And seriously, have a good one. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, unfortunately, nobody pays me. I just suffer. Awaken34 for 1 says, the site only allows the full download of games you can't buy anywhere, like Black and White 2, for example. Also, is Black and White 2 abandonware now? That's crazy. Also, since I have the time, ModDB is by far better than Nexus as a mod database. There you go. 16 MB for 5 says, reminder for chat that if you are into coins, sorry, I thought I said cousins because of Kanye West. If you're into coins, join the numismatics thread on Kiwi Farms. Lots of fun and tons of artists all around. It's true. The coin threads are the best. Pancake Luchador for 2 says, I also know that you were probably just keeping your options open. In regards to what? Oh, yeah, China? Yeah. Stino for 10 says, every tranny in the UK doing this right now, TTT. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, this.
Hey, sister, soul sister.
Holy shit! Keep fucking touching me. Keep fucking touching me. Touch me again. Touch me again. Touch me again. Touch me again. Touch me again.
That guy is pissed. What the fuck? I forget the context of this. Oh, yeah. He's like the tranny's like grabbing his foot or something. That's so fucking weird, bro. That's fucking weird. I'd kick the shit out of him, too. Shrooms. You will not stop me from touching you. It's my right as a woman. Lelanthia for 5 says, "Hey Josh, will you wish my mom a happy birthday, please? She's a booner, but one of the good ones." Okay, happy birthday, Lelanthia's mom. Very strange request for a booner. Simulligan 2 for 5 says, "Skip this if it's covered already, but there was this wrestling event called Effie's Big Gay Brunch that Kid Bandit was in." I did not cover that, actually. I can show that on the screen. Okay, let's see. You know, I love me some Kid Bandit, my new favorite wrestler. Oh, I don't want to see all that. Can I just like zoom into the middle of it? Is that gonna work?
They loud. Nice submission move. Come on.
Oh, is he gonna go down? Oh no, he's gonna do a big wombo move.
There we go.
He's gonna flip him over.
What up, bro? What's good?
Oh no, there's no way that much bigger man could possibly break out of this.
No, don't bend it. Oh, there you go. Wait.
Oh no, he's doing the flipperooski. Oh god, this is so much like really awkward sex. Oh, kicked in the silicone, punted. No, now the twink is in total control. Is that supposed to, that's fake, man. That's so fake that like I can't believe you even tried to pretend like he's gonna break his wrist. That's nuts. Why would you even try to pass that off as being real? There you go. Humble Guardsman for once says, "Why did Keem shoot that video on the railroad tracks?" Oh, you mean the one with the bumper? I don't know, man. He was just having a hard day. Anonymous for 450 says, "Food $200, data 150, rent 800, Kiwi Plus $3,600, utility 150. Someone who is good at economy, please help me budget this. My family is dying. Consider living on the street. I think is the best option." 4chan sucks. Cope and Sneed for 450 says, "Liz Fong Jones, Honeycomb 1776 Solutions." Thank you. Barolo Furman for one says, "Nothing." Thank you. TB Deluxe for 5 says, "Watching the Recaded return stream was like seeing a cop order at Denny's. Uneventful." Now that's a punchline. Came a year later, but that's a punchline. Nothing Cool for 1138 says, "Josh, please play this. It's really funny." Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I don't know. Hopefully this doesn't suck. If it sucks, fuck you. This just makes me want to listen to Rammstein. Benzene. That's just making me hankering for some German yelling. Thank you. Smithy129 for 10 says, "4chan is back up sooner than you thought, Lamau." I think I said at least a week, and it's been a week. So I think I was right. 4chan's back up, by the way. Awaken34 for one says, "I like that the DSP detractors are so desperate for content they even save Phil money by canceling his Switch 2 orders." It's true. Anonymous for one says, "How do you say that you hate Shroons when you had two openly Janny trains for years, Ruin and Feline Dark Mage?" If they were openly tranny, I did not know at the time, and it never became an issue. Doc's Found for 2 says, "Are you going to peddle Billy Mitchell's hot sauce through the Kiwi Farms merch shop when you finally get set up?" I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. By the way, I might have a discussion with him on the Kino Casino at some point. I think that's an open door at the moment. Vordier for 5 says, "Put this towards my 40 QEM account. My number is 531-8008. You know that I can't do that. And that's a joke. That you don't have your account number. So he's just fucking around. Ab for 9 says, "Hey Josh. It won't be Germany that the Troons go to. It will be Ireland. The state is pandering to them in the wake of the UK decision. No doubt Queen Cafalls will be heading south imminently. Suffer Ira. Yeah, they should suffer. I mean, it's a nice country, but they allowed it to become what it is. Haramburger for 2 says, I got into an argument with a Pooster with an April 2025 join date, and when I had him on the ropes, he mentioned his Donkey Kong high scores. Should I retain a lawyer? Probably, bro. Probably that's the safest option. 4chan sucks. Cope and Sneed for 450 says, Liz Fong Jones, Honeycomb, and 7076 Solutions. Thank you. Health Hazard for 2 says, Ham Jam. Thank you. Anime Sucks Cope and Sneed for 1 says he's bald. Anime Sucks Cope and Sneed for 1 says he's a bum. And Anime Sucks Cope and Sneed for 1 says he's gay. Octavia Sales Rep for 10 says, Hypocrite's voice has that touch of psychomotor retardation, just like Keffels. It has a touch of something. I don't know what. Thank you. G Annan for 450 says, do you display scaling in Linux? In Windows I use 150, but last I checked in Linux there wasn't a good solution. Just like retard shit running your monitor at a lower resolution using Xrender. I do. I either have it at 150 or 200, but the issue with UI scaling in Linux is that there is nothing I've ever seen that allows you to do it per monitor. So when I had my original setup, it was a 4K monitor and 2 1080p monitors, and it would scale it up on all 3 of them, which looked atrocious on the smaller ones. But I'm only using 1 monitor now because I could only take 1 with me to the US, so I do use scaling on that. In the future, I'll just buy 4Ks. Fortier for 2 says, 4chan's back up, hamster jamster. Tetrarex for $20 says, dude, somebody say nitrous. Tetrarex might actually do nitrous. Don't do galaxy gas, my boy. It's bad for you. Thank you. Bunker Housing for 3 says, I don't understand why people are angry at Kanye. He is mentally sick and do things that mentally sick people do. I don't know why they're angry. It's just really weird. And it's really bizarre that Nick Fuentes is still stuck with them. Anime Sucks for 1 says he's gay. Anime Sucks for 1 says he's a bottom. Tetrarex for 20 says, if you can't enjoy someone deep-throating dick, you don't deserve to listen to their mixtape. Now, that's a contentious opinion. I don't know if that's true. Thank you. Devious TV 3 says say something mean about somebody. No. There's some fucking schizo from 4chan that keeps making sock accounts on the forum. He sucks ass. Fatty Caddy for 5 says, I hypocrite, it's so right. Because some women are bad, it's time to fuck a Mexican catboy in the ass and invite brown pedos into our country to sexually assault white women. That is not an unpopular opinion. Ducks Found for 5 says, you used to post a journal update with a Warrant Canary on GitHub, but I guess you were banned. Last word was that you hadn't received anything you hadn't posted about. Is this Warrant Canary dead? No. It's still the same, but I don't have the Git repository was taken down when we got deplatformed. Once I have income and I can fix my rack, I will do so. 4chan Sucks Cope and Scene for 450 says, Liz Fong Jones, Honeycomb, 776 Solutions. Thank you. The Ghost of Low Tax for 1 says, Azealia isn't Kanye's ex, though she probably would like to be. She's basically the female Kanye. Also, 4chan is back online, by the way. Anime for 1 says, stick her in a swimming pool and hook up the batter. Okay. Haramburger for 2 says, ACAB, all content cop officers are bad. Boo fucking who. I hope you get PTSD, Frogan. I hope you get no health insurance when you get below 300 pounds. Baldo Pagans for 5 says, Ralph should just host WrestleMania 2 on the same day as Creator Clash 3 to further style on Idubbbz. Oh shit, I unplugged my... Oh fuck. I unplugged my headset, but I guess I'm not listening to anything. You guys can still hear me, right? Okay, I'll just talk then. Foxes for 5 says, Nazi Germany mentioned take a shot. That's true. Every day, all day, from everywhere in the world. Redtail for 2245 says, have you considered using the Alex Jones Store affiliate program for the site? No application process. They pay by check and give 10% of every sale. They got vitamins, coffee, knives, and survival stuff. I honestly don't want to shill that kind of stuff, to be real with you. Blurp Bloop for 1 says, why do you hate the full screen button on videos? Because it's a pain in the ass to get rid of. I try to do it when I can, but for short clips, I just don't bother. Bald Eagle Jerk for 5 says, base mods is basically dead. RPG HQ and its mod repo, Mod HQ, are the sites that Nexus Training was referring to. It's a like-minded community to the forum, just mostly gaming focused. Do recommend. There you go. Blurp Boot for 1 says, amazing how Laserpig is just like Destiny. He is literally a system pig. He wants the status quo. It's true. Lord Bleep for one says, "Oh, you pointed it out already. Never mind." True. I can't believe we came to the same conclusion. Lord Bleep for one says, "Thank you for your base take. You're welcome." Doug S for 9 says that Laserpeg theory on Gamergate is identical to Jim Stewart's. And any idea how long he's been espousing that unimpeachable theory? No, I don't follow him that closely. I only watch this video because of happenstance. But I'm actually surprised that Stewartson even knows what Gamergate is. It's kind of bizarre. Fendhard for 2 says, Laserpig is a massive faggot. Also pretty sure he was sponsored or working with Ukrainian government-backed organizations and making videos for them. I just remember this from the time he was spurging about the T-14 Armada having German World War II engine. Yes, he's been to Ukraine several times, and he said that he's spent about 60,000 pounds sterling on British charity causes and also repairing some of their espionage equipment. Bot or not for 20 says, drove through Wilmer while trucking a couple weeks ago and was held up by a hell of a car accident. My first thought was, holy shit, what if it's Nick? If you're in Wilmer, we may have a task for you because we're going to get that body cam footage, bro. If you have a ski mask, no, I'm just kidding. Thank you. Cola for 450 says, have you ever seen entry for Kiwi Farms on Soyjack Wiki, specifically the video at the top? They really seem to hate having the thumbnail images. No, I have not, but I know they do, and I don't care. MH Draculaw for 2 says, Nick should come up with any cope he wants. At the end of the day, he's a loser like Aaron. He let a loser like Aaron dump a load in his wife, and that's a stink that doesn't wash away. That's true. 16 MB for 2 says, Lollyconners are the troons of the white right wing. I don't know what the fuck they are, besides losers. Anomalous for 1169 says, how do you say that you hate troons when you had 2 openly Janny trainings for a year at Ruin and Feline Dark Mage? I've already answered this, and I already said that I don't know and I don't care. They moderated fine while they were around. I didn't know. I didn't even know Ruin was a tranny. I think someone has accused Feline Dark Mage of it, but like I don't pay attention to that shit. If they're not talking about it, then I would have no idea. Sneeda Stanny for 5 says, what's the crime? Enjoying a phone book, a succulent lolicon phone book. Gross. Coley Dante for 20 says, oh no, my Oshi by Ranbot. Ranbot can't feel any feelings besides like rage, like impotent rage. All the other emotions in his prefrontal were crushed, and now he just feels rage. Thank you. Anime for 1 says, Gator is such a loser, suffer cancer, man. Dave 87890 for 10 says, this is my waifu right here. And then there is a gator. And I can't hear anything, so I don't know what to expect with this. Oh my god. Okay, I guess I'll plug in my headset while this plays.
There's my waifu right there.
I love you, Gator Husbando-sama.
Brian Shannon, get back to work! Quit fantasizing! And this is the second time I've had to tell you to take off that hat! Do it one more time and I'm writing you up, mister! I'll take off the hat. No, you're not talking in that voice either! Use your real voice when you're at work! This is my real voice! No, it's not your real voice! Now stop doing it and go sweep up!
Okay, sorry. I did plug in my headset. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that clip. Oh, the video was frozen? Okay, oh well. I was dreadfully afraid that I had actually disconnected my my video player. Sorry, bro. Monero Extremist for 450 says, what if they harass your mail guy? Hasn't happened so far. We'll see. Deadlight for 5 says, no, Stalker Child. Doing anything using checks is always fraud. Enjoy prison. Wait quietly for the knock. I think I will. The knock of the postman bringing me my checks. 4chan sucks. Scope and Sneed for 450 says, Liz Fong Jones, Honeycomb, and 7076 Solutions. Thank you. Red Eyes Black Dragon for 5 says, happy pizza day, Josh. Stay fat king. Try not to. IHC 1996 for 10 says, what the hell happened to Lauren Southern? Did she really want Disney's Shai Hulud? What's your best advice for relationship heartbreak? Thanks, George. She dipped off the internet because she had a mixed race child, and then the father abandoned her for the federal government. Now he's fired because Trump laid off everybody. Spingle Cat for 2 says, a Shondo pedo fan in the thread got exposed. I saw some guy defending Shondo, and he has like a gross lolicon. Like all of his, he has like a Path of Exile profile, and all of his characters are named like Lolliplapper or whatever the fuck, so. The president of Nintendo, for one, says, Local's idea, a dramatic reading of your mattress title fanfic. Good idea. Mother's Day is coming up after all. Breadwash for 5 says, YouTube link. Reminds me of a bit from The Office. It's only like a minute, so it won't take up too much time. It is $10 for a clip, because otherwise these streams never end, bro. And it's just a clip from The Office. I don't want to watch I've not watched The Office up until this point. I don't want to watch The Office today, okay? I'm sorry. IHC1996 for 2 says, is that a matter baby in your stream background? What? A matter baby? I don't know what the fuck that means. Crunky K for 10 says, early and incredibly straight. Thank you. Appreciate it. Chloe Dante for 20 says, if you get 20 in the mail from Danko Grivich, but then you say the F word in the Lord's name in vain, is that check fraud? That's fucking stupid. That's a stupid ass fucking tweet. Thank you, by the way. Hydrofluorolefin for 5 says, if you made tiers of support and they have, I already went over this. There's no way for me to delineate. So I have to pick one or the other. I might do tiers later, but for this, I just need a way to get it working. I don't want to complicate things twofold. Humble Guardsman for 1 says, proposal to remove Ralph's name from the board and just call it the sector. He's an irrelevant retard and would probably see about it. Maybe. That's a good idea. Anonymous for 130 says, Wayland allows for per monitor scaling, i.e. 1 at 150, 1 at 100. Only downside for me is that global hotkeys don't work for most of my programs. I use KDE. I don't want to. If I change my desktop environment, I'm going to break the entire computer. Wickonch for 10 says, I really thought him comparing U.S. immigration to death camps was insane. I did play that clip. That's how they feel. They feel it's a genocide, bro. Just what we're up against. Thank you. Verdier for 5 says, check out this video, please. What video? You didn't post a video. Anonymous for 130 says, Judge Josh. That's right. And that's it. That's all the ones I'm reading. If you sent in a super chat that I didn't read, it's because you're fucking annoying. All right. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Where is it? There it is. Okay. The classic. The OG. Point of contention that millennials win again and our memes are evergreen. And even though Matt Stone